at 5:31. If we could have the invocation and pledge led by Pastor Aldridge Young.
Let us pray. Dear Lord God, as we come before thy presence in such homage and respect and reverence, we come, O Lord God, praying for this city of Lynn Haven, so officials, governmental officials. We pray, O Father, that this gathering will be in such a way that you would be pleased. Pray for an unfinged love, one toward another. Lord, bless our city, a city that is beloved, a city of love, and a city of dignity. We thank you, O Father, for the God that you are, and we do thank you for our officials. We pray this prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. Let us look to our flag and present the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So what I'm going to do today is we have three proclamations, and I'm going to go ahead and read those first before we jump into public commentary. The first one is for Thad Kane Day. I don't know if many of you know this or not, but Kane Griffin Park, where are we at geographically? This way, is one of the name Kane is from Thad Kane's family, and many people claim that he's part of the reason. One of the reasons they named it after him is because back when I was a kid, there was only one field at Kane Griffin, and he was constantly hitting home runs into the yards of the neighbors, and so he was one of the main reasons why that park was named Kane Griffin. So whereas Thad Kane spent his entire life of 67 years growing up in Lynn Haven, whereas those who knew him would often say that his heart was as vast as his physical stature, and whereas in 1976, Thad was a member of Mosley's second ever graduating class, participating in baseball, basketball, and football throughout his high school years, and whereas he held a deep affection for all things related to sports and continued his involvement in ball games by volunteering to coach the girls' basketball teams throughout the 80s and early 90s, offering transportation when necessary and dedicating himself wholeheartedly to the program. And whereas subsequently, over the years, Thad could be seen at every Bay County athletics competition, as well as all the Mosley football and basketball games. And whereas the city honored the Kane and Griffin families, who were the original settlers of the land, by naming the Kane Griffin Park in Lynn Haven after them. And whereas, according to local lore, Kane Griffin Field was considered Thad's field, as he frequently hit the ball out of the park and into the backyards of the houses across the street or onto the rooftops. And whereas Thad was also a member of Gents Inc., where he organized the annual golf tournaments to raise funds for student scholarships. And whereas Thad Kane cherished his wife and family, was a devoted fan of Mosley, the Florida Gators, and any sport involving a ball, Thad is survived by his wife of 34 years, Jocasta, and their 4 children. Now, therefore, I hereby proclaim September 24th every year as Thad Kane Day. Next, we have National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas breast cancer touches the lives of Americans from every background and in every community across our nation, and whereas though we have made great strides in combating this devastating illness, more than 316,950 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year, and tens of thousands are expected to lose their lives to the disease. And whereas during the month of October, National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we honor those we have lost, lend our strength to those who carry on the fight, and pledge to educate ourselves and our loved ones about this tragic disease. And whereas, though the exact causes of breast cancer are unknown, understanding its risk factors is essential to prevention. And whereas early dedication is also key in the fight against breast cancer, and getting recommended screening mammograms can help to detect breast cancer early. Now, therefore, I proclaim October 25th as National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Further, I call upon the residents of the city of Lynn Haven to join in activities that will increase awareness of what Americans can do to prevent breast cancer. And lastly, we have a proclamation for City Government Week. Whereas city government is the government closest to most citizens and the one with the most direct daily impact upon its residents, and whereas municipal government provides services and programs that enhance the quality of life for residents, making their home, and whereas city government is administered for and by its citizens and is dependent upon public commitment to and understanding of its many responsibilities, and whereas city government officials and employees share the responsibility to pass along the understanding of public services and their benefits, and whereas Florida City Government Week offers an important opportunity for elected officials and city staff to spread the word to all citizens of Florida that they can shape and influence this branch of government, and whereas the Florida League of Cities and its member cities have joined together to teach citizens about municipal government throughout a city of activities. Now, therefore, I do by here declare by proclamation as follows: that the city of Lynn Haven encourages all citizens, city government officials, and employees to participate in events that recognize and celebrate Florida City Government Week. Section 2, that the city of Lynn Haven encourages educational partnerships between city government and schools, as well as civic groups and other organizations. In Section 3, that the city of Lynn Haven supports and encourages all Florida city governments to actively promote and sponsor Florida City Government Week. All right, moving on to public commentary. First, we have Keith Baker.
Keith Baker, 8350 Baker Way, Youngstown, Florida. Just want to thank the board for this opportunity to come before you guys and speak. It's been a long time since I've been in front of a group, so forgive me if I have any kind of nervousness. I'm here to talk about the current vacancy of the city manager position, and specifically Chris Lightfoot and the position that he's holding now. And I just wanted to share some things about Chris and my past experience with him that I believe to be true, and really ultimately the reason why I think he would be a great fit for this city. But really, I just want to do a quick joke about Chris. And so we worked together at the city of Panama City. We were there together. I was there for 6 years. I served as the director of leisure services. And somewhere around 2017, our seating arrangements were always the same. Every week we met with the city manager and we went through, current events, things that were going on. projects, whatever. And there was a vacancy at the director of utilities. Well, Chris filled that vacancy. And you have a fun time. It's a good time when you're in those meetings because you have freedoms. We joke and we laugh, and so I got to know Chris over several months of meetings. And one day I was curious. I was like, man, how old are you? And he said, and I'm only 26, about to be 27. I said, are you kidding me? I said, that's crazy. And so I was just like, I was baffled because the same Chris you see sitting here in the seat today is the same guy that I saw however many years ago. And I'm convinced that his mother dropped him out of the womb just like that because it's just, he's the same guy. And so anyway, Chris and I got to know each other well at the city. And I got to see him perform. We performed together on a lot of projects. And I just want to say why I think he's important to your team. And it really, it's about team. I was very fortunate in college. I played college baseball. We won a national championship. And we were not the best team on the field, but we had the best role players on the field. And every guy that went out there and performed their role. And that's why we won. And so that's kind of what I kind of want to share some things that I believe Chris brings to the table. And I'll start with one, open communication. Obviously, we know open communication is important. I mean, we see failed marriages every day. And I think the main reason for those failed marriages is because of communication. Trust and respect. I think Chris would bring trust and respect to this organization because people know his background and they understand that he was out there doing what they did. And you gain a lot of respect that way. Empathy. Empathy is big because, you got to care for your employees. You got to care and you got to love your employees. And understand them where they are. Constructive feedback, that's important in any organization. Not only giving constructive feedback, but being able to receive it. And I truly believe Chris has that ability. Role and clarity, we just talked about that, that national championship spirit and that winning. If you don't have a team that knows their roles, and they're not given clarity about their role. Sorry. Can I continue or do I need to go?
No, sorry.
Okay.
Got 3 minutes.
Sorry. Couldn't fit it all in.
I appreciate it.
Anyway, thank you.
All right, next week on the list we have Ryan Scray.
Good evening, Commission. The street lighting responsibility transfer. I emailed you all, but my opinion has changed a little bit on what I said. I just outright don't want you guys to approve this, and I'm going to tell you why. It might sound like a small request, but what it really does is shift a private cost, something the developer and ultimately the HOA agreed to, onto every taxpayer in Lynn Haven at a time when strict budgeting is fundamental and a priority. When that community was built, the developer chose the lighting they did. They made a private deal to cover it, and now that the agreement is expiring, they want to change things up, and they're asking the city, which is all of us, to pay for it. The proposal says the city could reduce the amount to about $1,200 a month. So can the HOA, making the same deal with FPL. That is a cost of $9 per month per household in that community. That's the cost of a Netflix subscription, one fewer Starbucks run per month, or just choosing store brand groceries on your trip instead of name brand. So this isn't about hardship, it's about fairness and responsibility. If you as a commission would like to revisit how we do streetlight allocation and paying for them across the entire city, please do so, because we have many other residents that are paying individually for their streetlights outside their homes right now. I was quoted about $17 by FPL for an extra street light per month. Once the city takes ownership, you would also inherit all of the future costs and liabilities of those lights and whatever rate hikes FPL decides to make for them. And in short, this proposal asks 133 households to save $9 per month each by asking thousands of other residents to pay more over time It's not just unfair, it's fiscally irresponsible. Thank you for your time and protecting all of the residents of Lynn Haven.
Thank you. Next on the list, we have Courtney Stewart.
Mayor Pro Tem, Ms. Stewart asked me to pass these out when she came up to speak.
Thank you.
What I've, just to clarify to everybody, what I've given them is just a Google Maps image of our neighborhood entryway, just so they have kind of a visual of what I'm explaining. Hi there, my name is Courtney Stewart, and I'm a resident here in Lynn Haven. I'm here tonight to ask you all for your help. I've lived in Hawks Landing community for 6 years now, and every year our traffic problem has been getting worse. We have a single entry neighborhood, which I originally found to be a fantastic blessing because we have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and that means safety and security. But we have come to find that between 2 o'clock, sometimes 1:45, to 3 o'clock, 3:20, it's almost impossible to get in our neighborhood. Bay Haven traffic has become so overwhelming that it lines up Highway 389, and oftentimes it blocks our straight-only lane into our neighborhood. As of yesterday, I would like to add that they have also actually added road markings indicating that the straight lane can also be used as a second right turn lane. I don't know if that was city approved, but they redid all of the Bay Haven printing. I've heard so many things from so many people, a lot of which I cannot verify, but I know that all of our attempts to fix this problem have been unsuccessful. I've been told we've talked to the previous city manager about this, and she said yes initially, and then she turned us down, quoting, it would cost a lot of money. And again, I've heard quotes and numbers and everything, but I don't know if it's legitimate, so I'm not even going to go into that. I've also heard we've talked to the police chief requesting maybe, either police help or something like that, cones where we can just enter our own neighborhood. And we've got no responses with that, at least nothing permanent. I've called Bay Haven twice in preparation for this meeting, and after the second call, I basically got a response from the secretary saying she talked to the CEO and that that they've been there for 16 years, it's been like this forever, and it's our problem, not theirs, which I don't think really fixes anything, but we'll pass that. All of this, beyond the major inconvenience of having a 2-year-old who's screaming in the car, and I'm just trying to get home from picking up my daughter. Passing all of this, we have the problem of emotional interactions. A few weeks ago, I was actually cursed out and flicked off, excuse my language, but for just I rolled down my window and just asked the gentleman if I could get in front of him to get left to get to my house. My 5-year-old in the back seat looks at mommy and says, "Why was that man yelling at you?" I honestly, I was kind. I was not trying to be rude. I rolled down my window. So all of that to say, tensions are getting really hot between the parents and the people living here. We have a lot of people going in the out. The second response is emergency vehicles, trying to get emergency vehicles in. But we've had fires. We've had health issues. So all of that, I'd like to say, please help us in some way or another. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Next we have, Dave Lowry?
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for hearing me tonight. I'd like to briefly address you this evening. My name is Dr. Dave Lowry, and I'm the president of the Hawks Landing HOA. I've been on the board for 10 years now, a resident of Hawks Landing for 13 years since I reassigned down here to Tyndall from the Pentagon. Just to add a little bit of contextual color to what my good friend and neighbor Courtney Stewart was talking about, St. Joe's original 2003 one-way in, one-way out into the Hawks Landing neighborhood has become increasingly problematic, with many of our residents not being able to get in and out of their community effectively from 6:45 to 8:15 in the morning, and again in the afternoons from 2 to 3:30 in the afternoons when Bay Haven traffic is at its peak. While never ideal, back pre-Michael, approximately 60% of Bayhaven students were bused in. Only 40% were actually driven in by parents, grandparents, what have you. After Michael, when so many of our families were scattered across the community, up to 90% of the students are now trucked in. That's double the amount of traffic in without any additional roads or infrastructure there. It's been frustrated even further because we've had legitimate emergency first responder and first response medical type situations. And I'll just give you a case in point. In early 2014, a home just 4 doors down from my own home got struck by lightning, February of 2024. It was a rolling thunderstorm that came through in the afternoon, so Bayhaven immediately shut down the school, would not let students out. So gridlock ensued, right? So our fire trucks from right outside the neighborhood were trying to get in and absolutely gridlock everywhere and could not get in. That home ended up being a total loss, and a military retired family that had been there 14 years saw their home burned to the ground. Now, would that 5 or 10 minutes made a huge difference? Maybe, maybe not. But that just shows you the problem that we've had. We've also had multiple heart attacks, strokes, issues like that with some of our elder residents. Same problem with ambulances. So sadly, multiple HOA efforts have been made with the last 3 Bayhaven CEOs, and their response has always been, y'all figured out we were here first. We still have an issue for the betterment of our entire community that we would really like to collaborate with the city of Lynn Haven to figure out a specific solution. We have 2 potentials in mind we can readdress. I've discussed with Chief Ramey before. I've discussed with Vicki Gaynor before. We'll be more than happy to talk to the proper subject matter experts to try to get that addressed. One would be to remove our main signage and allow a new lane in, but we would also need a corresponding lane out and right turn lane. Increase traffic in, you have to increase it out, or it's just going to compound the problems. There's also possibilities to connect to existing county or city roads and other locations within the compounds of our neighborhood, which is within the compounds of Lynn Haven. So look forward to working with you, and thank you.
I am having issues reading this name. Its first name starts with the letter A, and the last name starts with the letter B. Yes, there we go.
Good evening, Commissioners. Alvin Peters, 25 East 8th Street, Panama City, Florida. I'm one of the lawyers representing your former city manager, Vicki Gaynor. And I promised you I'd come from time to time, once a month, update you. Last week, we sent a letter to your attorney, Ms. Myers, outlining the basis of our claim for discrimination by Ms. Gaynor and how the city will be, we estimate, liable for the misconduct and the discrimination by the city against her. That letter indicates that you have roughly till October 25th before we file formal suits and administrative claims against the city. So that's the update in that regard. Since the last time I was here, you've lost your police chief. I guess he was allowed to resign. And for purposes of our case, what's relevant is how he was treated. Anytime you bring a discrimination case, you want to say, how was Ms. Gaynor treated versus how were others treated? In the terminology of discrimination cases, you say, what's the comparator? How does the behavior of the city compare how they treated Ms. Gaynor, a black woman, with how they treated a white male? And so I'm looking at the investigation that the city conducted on the termination of Chief Ramey. And I have in my hand this letter dated September 25th from Dave Marcy, who wrote this 42-page report with numerous recorded interviews, numerous photographs, annotations. I mean, it's an impressive investigation. You've had a chance to look at it. And then So I have this on the one hand for how the city investigated the case against Chief Ramey, and here I have in my hand nothing. This is the quality of the investigation that the city did against Ms. Gaynor. And so this is an example of how the city rushed to judgment, mistreated Ms. Gaynor versus how they treated Chief Ramey, and this is a part of how we prove discrimination. On the one hand, a 42-page report by a third-party, impartial person, and on the other hand, little or nothing. Thanks.
Thank you. Next, we have Cecile Schoon.
Good evening. My name is Cecile Schoon, and I'm also representing Ms. Gaynor. You know, you might ask yourself, what does an investigation, what does it matter? It really does matter, because both Mr. Ramey and the former city manager, another white male, they were placed on indefinite suspension, or they were kept they were allowed to be paid while the investigation went on. With City Manager White, he was on indefinite suspension, and that was literally said in the minutes of the meeting. So people didn't know how long the independent investigation was going to be. And it was a good thing, because there are always multiple sides to any issue. That's how he was treated. Mr. Peters then pointed out how Chief Ramey was treated. He was also allowed to stay in his work, and while an independent person did a very thorough investigation to see both sides. And again, people generally don't want to rush to judgment. They want to find out, you know, is that really true? But that's not what happened with Ms. Gaynor. Immediately upon review of that deposition, people made up their minds. You know, we got to fire her, that this is terrible. But if you actually read the deposition words, if you actually took the time to read it, what the lawyer was doing in that deposition is called leading questions. He had a paragraph, and then he would ask the witness, Mr. Forehand, he'd say, is that correct? And Mr. Forehand basically answered, it appears so. There was one particular question that was asked of Mr. Forehand about, is there any other reason that for the rebid, except that Ms. Gaynor didn't want Phoenix to get the contract? It was a very long question, and Mr. Forehand said, it appears so. But if there had been a proper investigation, you would have been able to look at the letter that Mr. Forehand himself wrote justifying the rebid. He had about 10 reasons that he gave to Ms. Gaynor to do the rebid. He's the one who told her to do it. And if you'd taken the time to have a third party look at that, you would have seen it wasn't a personal vendetta on Ms. Gaynor's part. She was following the directions of the professional engineer who had been hired for the city. He said one of the reasons was doing work with no notice, did not provide a schedule, did not supervise the subs. Those are legitimate reasons. And if you all had taken the time to allow an independent investigation, you would have had that information before you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the list is John Dassa, but I have here item 26, so if we can just wait till then to do that. Sorry for leading you on like that. Next we have Johnny Bashirs.
Greetings, Commissioners. Rather than come up at each agenda item, I thought I'd address my concerns now so you can consider them ahead of each item. Then you can respond during the reports or during the discussion of the agenda item, or remain silent, whatever you prefer. There's a lot of spending being requested on this agenda in excess of $3.4 million, excluding the $1+ million for the Tennessee sidewalk, which is FDOT funded. I ask, is there a spending plan in place for this, or is the intent to simply pull out of current funds and replenish when revenue comes in? I realize that some of the items are currently simply orders with promise to pay as the items are delivered or down payments are demanded. The $68K contract with Bay County Sheriff's Office, that agenda item, was originally with the police. Is that going to stay in the police budget, or is it going to move to the general fund budget as the original contract was with the police department? For the front-end loader, garbage truck, boom truck, fire truck, they're large, long delivery items. I realize the revenue will likely come in before they're paid for. Bunker gear for our firefighters and thermal imaging cameras are life safety items and should be purchased immediately. Water meters, lift stations, I hope the cost is not incurred before revenue comes in to pay for them. Item 23, Samsara citywide vehicle GPS tracking. As I understand it, you get vehicle tracking, gas consumption, and speeds, but it doesn't include the police or fire vehicles. Do we really get $5K per month of value out of that contract? That's something that I would like y'all to think about. Merrick Industries, the entrance drainage improvement project, engineering is $51K, and who knows what the actual cost is going to be. Is there a way to have Merrick pay for these improvements or carry some of the cost of those improvements? Lynn Haven receives about $9K per year in ad valorem taxes from Merrick, including their stormwater assessment. The Mill Bayou streetlights, which Ryan Scray already spoke on, costs about $9 a month per residence, $14K a year. Was it budgeted? There certainly was a lot of information and items and contention with the development of that, history of that. The letter of support to the Panama City Rescue Mission for Emergency Shelter, Project Compassion Homeless Shelter, they're requesting $4.26 million in funding from the state. Total cost projected at $5.6 million, or $825 per square foot. This letter of support is to support that request. Have you asked the leaders, the elected officials in Panama City, if they support and Panama City citizens support that? In the past, this has been a contentious issue. Are we sure we want to support that without the city input if we do not already have it? And one more thing, I would like to know on the warrant list what a Ventress and Bill Smith Electric, those two items were for. They're both over 100K, and I would like specifically to know what services were provided for those. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, there's a lot of questions asked right there. All right.
Okay, I'll address them as we get to those items.
Okay. Mr. Lightfoot will address those when we get to those items. We can ask about the warrant list items when Ms. Roman comes up. And then if we miss anything, let me know and we'll get those answers. All right, next we have Jerry Parker.
Good evening, Commission. Jerry Parker, Rhett Place. First of all, I want to give you some information that Florida is an at-will state. Ms. Gaynor could have been fired for any reason. Any reason. At-will state. With that being said, let me remind you guys of the 302 that Mrs. Gaynor gave to the FBI in reference to me, Jody Moore, Christy McElroy, and Bernie Thompson. They were all 100% a falsehood. It's a crime. What she did to the FBI was a crime. Why she was protected, I don't know. She should have been gone long before now. With that being said, 17th Street, across from Doc's Tire. That water thing, leak, I think was corrected, but now there is a huge hole there. 18th Street, still potholes. So that needs to be addressed as well. Thank you.
All right, and next we have Christy McElroy.
Christy McElroy, Port St. Joe. Yeah, that through to, it was pretty outlandish. Said that I was friends with Margot Anderson. I didn't know Margot. I'd only met Margot twice in federal court. And it looked like we were trying to collude in order to impact a federal case, a corruption case. And I also find it interesting we still have a hangover from that. But that was incorrect. I kind of want to talk about how Ms. Gaynor was treated differently. As I recall, when she was hired and everybody was all on board, Ms. Gaynor got vested not after 10 years, but after 5 years. Do y'all remember that? Commissioner Perno, you remember that? And that even though the committee, who was led by somebody that was in finance and the committee members were city employees, they all voted that down because of the numbers and what that meant to the future of the city and other retirements. But she got that vested after 5 years. I wasn't going to say anything about that, but since they talk about how everybody's, discriminated against, I know how she feels because I felt kind of discriminated against too. Now, I've read the 42 pages. I hope y'all have too. There are many inconsistencies and concerns within those 42 pages. And I think one of the items that I'm concerned about is on the agenda, so I'll come back and talk about that. But my main concern too is, you talk about car wrecks. So question I have is for Chris Lightfoot, did you have a employee under your employment that had a truck that looked like it had been beaten with a baseball bat? And I've got the employee's name, and I would like to know a little bit more about that, and I'm going to send you an email about it. But that is also a little concerning. There are many things that are still concerning about the way this city is being run. And the CO, the fire sprinkler inspection, how long it took to get those things in August before they were finished. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any further public commentary? All right, we'll go front to back. So, Ms. Moore.
So if the lawsuit actually happens, I'm looking forward to following that. I just want to, just a few words about the police chief. First of all, I would like to know if there's any more information about the other bank accounts that he had, if there's anything else that can be told about that, and if not today, I hope that can be told in the future. I would also encourage this commission going forward. I guess the process is not that the commission approves the next chief of police, but I would hope that, considering past history, that that candidate would come before the commission and that there is a transparent process to that. I don't think it's appropriate, considering everything that's happened in the past, for you guys just to go, hey, here's the new guy or the new woman or whatever. Like I said, I would just like I actually had heard that there's a committee that has been formed to, choose the next police chief, and that's fine. That's a good idea. But again, I would just encourage everybody to be as transparent as possible. Let us kind of vet that person, maybe meet the person ahead of time. This is important for the city and for the culture. And I think you all need to have a chance to meet with that person, and and again, the best candidate needs to be picked. Thanks.
Everybody raise your hand that wants to talk. All right, Mr. Langford.
Appreciate it. I was going to sign in, but I didn't have time to. Man, that was a compelling argument. I felt like I was on an episode of Matlock there for a second. But I'm not even going to talk about that. The street light deal, you can't take over the street lights over in there, over behind North Bay Haven. I rode over there and looked at it. I don't know what they were thinking when they made that, but there's like a street light every third house. And then one house, there's like a street light like 10 feet from the house. So I just don't think it's smart. Obviously, Mr. Bashir and Ryan got up here and gave you the numbers behind that. I don't think it's the city's problem to solve. I think it's the HOA's problem to solve. I really do. But other than that, just wanted to pass that along. Thanks.
Thank you. And
my name is Captain Gary Wayne Beck. I live at 2601 Beach Street. Folks, once again, I would like to let y'all know, I moved here in 1982 when I was 10 years old, and I had the privilege of growing up in Black Bay County, and it was one of the most best experiences I've ever had in my entire life. Some of the best dreams and some of the best times I had was right over there when y'all used to do the Renaissance when I was a boy. Then I went on to join the Merchant Marines in 2007, and then my Lord above turned me into an inventor. I designed a system in 2007 to power a city, house, or subdivision with no fossil fuels. And then I went on to design an asteroid defense system in 2010, which I named the Pease Asteroid Arresting System after Clara Pease, our commissioner. And somewhere along the lines, the scientific community won't recognize me because I say my Lord above did it rather than me. My work has already been graded and approved by a professor that teaches electrical engineering. And if anybody in here would like to see what I've done, I'd be happy to show you. But during the meantime, when I was in Honolulu, Hawaii, and I put my hand on the Bible in hallowed ground, I swore to uphold the Constitution and Bill of Rights. And since I've spoken with y'all last, there's been another 8 people that this county has destroyed their lives by taking their homes. And I've encountered strong-armed extortion that affects everybody in this county within the 14th Judicial, and that's the people that is at the bill clerk's, the clerk of court's office, who's not filing documents properly, and there's judges that allow them to forge my name within the courts. They're, time and time again, they isolate me and rob me of every constitutional right, and they're not only doing it to me, they're doing it to all sorts of people in Bay County. And these people are ruthless because, after all, they're preying on the elderly, the weak, and the poor. And you can't get much more strong-armed extortion than $42,600 for one day's labor, which is what the code enforcement did on Panama City Beach to Miss Cindy. I was just a victim of the code enforcement again. They came to my house, surrounded my house with sheriff's officers, and proceeded to take every tool that I have. Neither here nor there, I'm targeted. But what we got to realize is that the judges and the clerk of court and the officers within inside the clerk of courts, they're committing strong-armed extortion and racketeering that I can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt because they're all in on it, whether it be the fines or the accumulation of debt so they can take the people's property. And oh yeah, let's don't forget what Mike Thomas said. You know, they pride themselves in throwing the people in thousands and thousands of pounds of papers. And he says, we buy our ink by the barrel. And I've witnessed it. And I'm begging y'all, please get me in touch with Sheriff Tommy Ford, you know, because if I can't get in touch with him, then I'm left to a point where, you know, I'm obligated to defend my nation and the people.
all right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for y'all's time, and I appreciate it. If anybody would like to see what I've done, I'll be happy to show y'all whenever I get out of here.
All right. Anybody else? Next, we'll move on to the commissioners' reports. I guess I'll go first since seat 1 and then 2 and then 3 and 4. Sure, why not? All right. So first, want to say that the event that the city put on for dedicating the new fire truck was excellent. So thanks to everyone that made that happen. I had the honor of attending that. It was a great event, and so thank you for everyone coming out and supporting. There are a few things that I did want to bring up. Bring up that I think we may want to, maybe for our next agenda, put on. It's just my opinion here that we should put it on the agenda for the charter committee appointments.
Yes, sir. It will be on the next agenda.
Okay, cool. And then next, I wanted to bring up the Hawks Landing traffic. I do think that it's time that, from a city standpoint, maybe we reevaluate, go back and reevaluate what we can. That being said, I also want to encourage those that came out here to please reach out to Bay District Schools as well. Go to one of their meetings, because they have as much pull in this as we do, if not more. Because if the issues with the president of the school not working with you, we can't force them to do that. But just wanted to give that and let you know that I will be, advocating that we look at it from our side. So I appreciate you coming out and talking about it, and I really respect you coming out here, taking your evening and bringing up your concerns. Next, I wanted to bring up the Community Services Advisory Board. As you know, we I believe that's what it's called. We have had to cut some things that are not so fun to cut, right, in the budget. And I think that this board is the board that we can utilize the best to find ways that we can come together as a community and help make events happen that maybe that the city does not necessarily fund, but maybe we can partner with the city as far as like using the parks or something like that. I believe the chairman of that board is here today, Mr. Freeman back there. I did have a question for you, if you don't mind. Just want to get your opinion on a few things, and so that everyone up here and within the sunshine, we can talk about it legally. Thanks for coming.
Good evening.
So my question, I guess, is, do you kind of see it the same way, that this is a board that can be used to help in that scenario, maybe get together and do events?
Absolutely. I feel that, over the couple of years that I've been chair, we've had a lot of ideas and concepts, both from an internal standpoint as well as from members of the public that have come to our meetings with ideas on how to achieve goals, how to have events, how to be private partnerships on a lot of things, raising funds for very specific items within the city that different organizations or people were interested in trying to fund, but not necessarily coming out of city coffers. We've had lots of discussions and had some great ideas. We're eager to get back to it for sure.
Awesome. Now, how often do you think would be ideal to meet? Any idea?
Historically, we were meeting at least quarterly.
Mm-hmm.
When we had a lot of stuff to go on, we were meeting as much as monthly. So it just really depended on what was on the table and what needed to be gone through.
Okay. And do you think the number of members that you currently have is sufficient, or do you think it's something we should look at adding people?
I would say, because we have some legacy guys that have, the one person that was the chair for years has moved out of Lynn Haven. So not only is he no longer a part of the board, he's no longer chair. And then, other people, their work interests have changed and stuff over the years. I mean, I would love to add, another voice or two, especially people that were fresh and eager and invested. People that want to see stuff happen and come with some ideas.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I appreciate you coming out. I think that kind of answers my questions. The more I looked at this, talk to people across the community, I think, there are ways that we can have things like something for Halloween or Easter or whatever that we can do without spending, we could do without spending any tax dollars, and at a minimum, get the ball rolling on making that happen. Because we absolutely don't want to take stuff away from people. We just got to find a way to do it without it costing money. So
much like yourselves as representatives on the board, we have some pretty active people within the community well connected and know a lot of people, and we can make some things happen. So we'd love to be a part of it.
Awesome. So I guess my suggestion for the commission is let's utilize this board and let's figure things out. We've got people that are willing to serve. I guess my question for the attorney would be, if they do want to add one or two more, what would that process look like?
If they are vacancies, it's up to the commission to appoint. If you want to expand the composition of the board, the commission will have to do that.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate you coming out. I'm going to keep advocating for it. So, all right. I think that is. One other thing. A big thing that's coming up is the hiring of the city manager, the permanent city manager, and I talked to the head of HR. Had a great conversation. The first phase is to have the Tiger team get together and review if they're eligible, like the first check boxes. One thing I did want to encourage us to do is, as that process happens, possibly modifying that Tiger team depending on what phase we're in. For example, in my opinion, the best possible Tiger team to have is a combination of new eyes that have been here for a few years, and eyes that have been here for many years. I also think it's wise to get input from any department head. So I think maybe not necessarily from a Tiger team, but encourage the department heads, maybe have every single department head give us one question that they want us to ask or something like that. I just want the department heads to feel that they're allowed to be engaged, because it's going to be their new boss. So we want to get the department heads engaged as much as we can. But I do want to say thank you to everyone that has put in the hard work so far in this. The data that's come back, the spreadsheets that we've seen, it's good work. I appreciate it. And last thing is, I will have a coffee meet this upcoming Saturday at SOLA. So keep an eye out for that. And I'd love to meet with you and talk about anything you want to talk about. And we will have coffee with commissioners during government week as well. So you'll have twice the amount of time to have some coffee. So I appreciate all you do, and on to Commissioner Perno.
Thank you, Mayor Protem. I'd just like to tell you all, I know we did a proclamation for Thad Kane, and I played in the gents tournament. I don't think I've played in a golf tournament where Thad wasn't there, and I've played in 2 charity golf tournaments recently without Thad, and I saw the heavy hearts on the people who were on his team, who were there, and it's just very moving to know that a man had that much impact on the community. He was a great guy. He never was in a bad mood, and he was just a lot of fun to be around. But he and they said his service was at Mosley's Gymnasium 2 Saturdays ago, and one of the fellas said it best. He said, "As nice as he was, he wanted your money." he would play golf serious. So, but there wasn't a person that encountered him that didn't know one of the kindest souls you'll ever meet. So, I really he's left a big hole behind. I could see it on the faces of the people that were closest to him, and he will be missed. I don't have much else to report. I'd just like to thank all of our city employees and all of you people who care to come out for these meetings, that you care enough to be here. These times are very important. We're all approachable. I think everybody has their favorite commissioner to check in with, but each commissioner brings a different point of view to these meetings. I think you can find that we all have the best interest for our city at heart, as much as some people don't think that. But I'd like to thank you all, and that's my report.
Thank you. Commissioner Warwick?
Yes, so my time with the commissioner is going to be on the 25th of October, 11:30. I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I'm going to go to Diego's Burrito Factory. So want to come out and talk about whatever you'd like to talk about, more than happy to have you. And if you can't make it and you still want to talk to me, my number is 850-391-1217. More than happy to talk to you. Give me a call. Surtax Committee, there's going to be an opening coming up here soon. Surtax goes over, a lot of it's with the infrastructure surtax money that we get, and they go over the expenses that they're spending to make sure it's being utilized the way it's supposed to. So anybody who wants to get involved in that, let me know. It's on my Facebook page. If you don't do Facebook, again, you can give me a call, and I'll be more than happy to help you put in an application for that. 20 October is legislative delegation meeting at 5:30 p.m. Are we planning on going to that? I know normally every year we go.
Yes, sir. We have filled out the speaker request form on behalf of the mayor and commission.
So, and for the community, if you've never been to that, it's a good event where you'll have the State Representative Griff Griffiths and State Senator Jay Trumbull there, and be a lot of people advocating for certain things. Amongst us too, we'll be advocating for stuff also. So it's at 5:30 p.m. at the Bay County Government Building. And then the last thing I had was I had an idea of creating morale coin, and I wanted to put the logo of the city on there, and I sent an email to Mr. Obos about it, and they said if you're going to use it, you have to get the permission from the commission to use it. And kind of some of my ideas, like, if I see someone in the community that I think is doing some great things, give them a coin to say thank you for your contribution to our community and what you do. And I just wanted to bring that up to you and see if you guys had any issues or questions or with that.
I think the coin idea is great. Years ago, I was given a coin by John DeLange from the fire department. I still have it. And I think it's a great idea if you want to tie the community together.
I think you know that I like coins in the Air Force, so. Although I probably should have got more than I actually got, but hey, I'm not bitter or anything.
But with that, if you don't have any questions, I'd like to make a motion to allow me to use the city logo on a coin to get made and utilized to pass out to people when I see a good deed done.
Before we do that, do we need to do the proclamation to excuse the mayor?
You can do that later.
Okay.
You've got a motion on the table. Address it now.
I'll second.
Okay.
Oh, I can't. I got the gavel. Not used to it.
I'll second to discuss.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Lightfoot, will you call the roll?
To discuss first.
Oh, my bad.
You're asking to do a coin. Now you're going to spend your own money on that?
Yes.
So do we all get to spend our own money on something like that?
Yeah. Well, I don't see why not.
So can we all buy the coin too?
Yeah.
I don't want you to be the special guy with the keeper of the coins.
Yeah.
So I mean, I want to chip in too, is what I'm saying, Jamie.
Well,
So-
mine will have my name on it, but
Okay, so
but if you want,
Judy likes that, getting your name on it. Look at that. Well, we'd all do that. If you put us on, we'll piggyback on your invoice, if that's okay with you.
yeah, I'm good with that.
Get our names on them too, so we can all do it differently. And we just don't want any of y'all coming back and throwing them at us at meetings or anything.
And while you're shopping, can you bring us back prices and quantities?
Sure. Yeah. I already got prices for what I was looking at. So
And how many are you looking at?
I was looking at ordering. I think it was remember the cost was about $1,000, so I think it was like 300 coins, something like
I'll put my name on yours too.
Well, I mean, maybe I can change the design up a little bit or something, but yeah.
All right, is there any further discussion?
For clarity before we go, I think everyone has chimed in they would like to use the coin, but I think the motion was just for Commissioner Warwick to use the logo. So you may want to add on for every commissioner to use the logo if we can do it in one motion, or do we need a vote for each?
You can do it for all. If you're willing to amend your motion
Yeah,
to get
I'll
commissioner
amend my
approval.
motion that if anybody wants to use it for a coin, use it, and I'm good with that.
All right, do we have a second for the amended motion?
But he's got to take back, he's got to agree to it before we can go on with that.
Oh, I'm totally agreeable. Even if, maybe if you went to like 500 coins, it might be less, but between all of us, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, might be. Yeah.
Yep. So let's haggle some more, and
Okay.
I'll definitely second it.
All right. You got to ask the public.
Do we have any public commentary?
Not about the coins, but we cannot hear y'all out there. If they can turn the mics up or something for the audience to be able to hear your discussions, it would be helpful for the citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I feel like my voice is projected.
It is about coins. As an Air Force veteran, I think this is a great idea. I love it. And it was really hard in the Air Force to earn some coins. Some commanders were really stingy with their coins, and you had to work really hard to earn it. So I'm going to share a little story about you with my favorite coin that I have earned. And it was from the 50th Space Wing Mission Support Group Commander. And I earned his coin for volunteering to be a part of an all-junior enlisted airman team to do wild cow milking at the Pikes Peak or Bust Rodeo. And I paid dearly for that coin by getting slammed into the fence by that wild cow. But I would do it again in a heartbeat. So I say you guys approve this, do it as a whole commission coin if everybody's on board with it. I just urge you to be, make us work for these coins. It's got to be something that people are really doing something special for the community. Because that's what we should be about, is coming together as a community and doing what's better for the whole community, not just anything, just make it special. Thank you.
I'll chime in as well. I had the privilege to command 3 Air Force units, and those coins can and do make a difference. And after my military career was done, I've got a big display case, and every single one of those has a story behind it. Where I was at, who I was presented it by. As a squadron commander, those are huge things, so I would highly encourage it. As a guy who has designed many, many challenge coins myself, there are some great companies out there. I'll even volunteer to help you guys if you want. You can have a side with the City of Lynn Haven logo on it, and then you can personalize on your back. And then even you can have Mylars. There are ways to even reduce the costs even further than the actual stamping the die-struck coins. You could actually insert like a personalized Mylar with an epoxy overlay. There are all kinds of things you can do to have a standard but customized unique coin that you personally recognize somebody. In the Air Force, we call that an impact reward. When someone truly made a difference, made an impact. You put that coin in their hand, you just put it in, and you look them dead in the eyes, and you say, thank you for your service. That coin, that $2 or $3 coin, is worth $1 million in terms of morale and pride. And they'll carry it with them, just like you said, Commissioner Tinder, about the Fire Chief's coin.
Mm-hmm.
Kudos, good job, and happy to help if I can.
Thank you. All right.
I love the coin idea as well, Michelle Bashir's Louisiana Avenue. The only thing, I was with an organization that individuals just gave out coins, and there was a lot of hurt feelings because someone would do the exact same thing, and one person would get a coin and the other person didn't. And so maybe as a commission you give coins and then bring them in and do it publicly in front of all of us so we can all celebrate. And then there's some things you need to kind of be careful of. So thank you.
Thank you. Any further public commentary? All right. We have a motion and a second. We ready for the roll? All right, Mr. Lightfoot.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peebles?
Yes, motion passed. Anything further, Commissioner Warwick?
That's all I had.
Thank you. All right, moving on to Commissioner Tender.
Thank you, sir. I have a number of different items that I would like to discuss tonight. Two of them are for Kiki, so I'll wait until you report. And I have to say, I'm totally behind the Hawks Landing issue. This is something that's gone on for a long time, and it should have been corrected a long time ago. Just as the acting city manager has been trying to help me with building permits that have been out for months and months and months. We've got to pick up the pace and, make things better for our residents. So I just want to say publicly, I am totally behind the Hawks Landing situation. I did some phone calling around today and yesterday to find out, and I'm not going to be popular when I say this, but taking over the lights out there in Mill Bayou. In the mid-1990s, the city of Lynn Haven took over the streets and all of that in the country club. I have no idea what it cost us. I'd only found two people that could even give me some idea of when that took place, and it was in the 1990s. I do know we pick up their trash now, so we're making revenue, obviously. We're collecting taxes. We're collecting taxes from those people. The Mill Bayou project, and I'm not going to say a lot until the gentleman gets up and speaks, but what? But I really want us to look at that because those people were boxed in a situation there. And God forbid something happens to somebody. I've said it for years. So hopefully we can help make things work there. The other thing, and Ben's not here tonight, but the other thing about do you all remember the license plate trackers that the CRA paid for? It was thousands of dollars. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Anyway, they're just planted in the ground and they can take pictures of everybody's license plates. I don't know if all of a sudden, and if we are, I hope somebody tells me now, are we having a crime spree in the country club? We're not, are we?
Not that I have heard or seen on the after shift reports, no ma'am.
Okay, then I would think we could move the one that sits outside of the entrance.
That's not a tag reader. That is a private deal that used to be on their security whenever it was an enclosed or a private road, and they had a guard shack and all out there. That's part of that.
So it's not working at all?
That's not the city. That's not one of the CRA tag readers that you're referring to.
Okay, but is it still working?
I am not sure. It's not the city's.
Okay, I'll check into that. I'm sorry. I thought it looked just like a tag reader. Okay.
While we're waiting for him, I think, what is it, about $15,000, $20,000 a year we pay on that? The tag readers?
Something like that.
So the tag reader, the entrance to the country club, is owned by that HOA. It doesn't belong to the city. It is tied into our system, which is the same. It's all tied in with Bay County system. So it's tied in, but it belongs to them. So you have to ask them if they want to move it somewhere.
Okay, so, but we pay for it?
We
Or
do
they
not
pay
pay for it. No.
They can leave it right there for all.
They share that information with us for free.
Okay, thank you. Perception. I hate even bringing this up, but I have to say it out loud. Public perception is so important to us as a commission. It's important to this city to represent the way we want to be represented. And we have to respect the fact that everybody has a different opinion. But at the same time, as employees of the city, and there's like 200 and some now, we need to keep track of what things look like, okay? And I'm just going to say this, I'm not naming names at all. I was having breakfast last week at 9:30 and ran into 3 city employees doing the same thing. Now, I don't know, maybe they go to breakfast and then brunch or lunch or whatever, I don't know. But I'm just saying that the perception is not good. People come in and they go, whoa, huh? And they all got shirts on and hats on and, you know, everybody's having a good time. I just think the perception of that needs to be looked at, so that we don't look like we're taking advantage of the people. Okay, the other thing, God, I feel like I'm a complainer, but I've had 2 weeks to write it all down. About 2 weeks ago, a resident came to me, and as a commissioner, I swore to uphold the Constitution. This resident came to me in confidence, wanting to hand over evidence regarding a police officer, and I said, okay. And I did it reluctantly, I have to say, because I'm thinking, ooh, I don't want in this mess. And, but at the same time, I felt like it was my duty. So anyway, we got together. Mr. Infinger and Mr. Lightfoot decided that they did not want to investigate it, that it had to go to the sheriff's department. So they gave me a number of a sheriff's employee. I called him. He came, he met with me and this individual. I went to the other room, didn't want to even hear what they were talking about. And then it came back to me that she had not given them everything. So I started again. You got to turn this stuff in, you got to turn it all in. Anyway, I just want to publicly say, and I'll put this in an email to you, Amy, because I think I've already emailed some of this to you. I just want to publicly say, here is the remainder of the evidence. It's absolutely everything that I have seen or have. And I've talked to the investigator at the sheriff's department, and according to him, he's given it all back to y'all. Is that true?
To my understanding, he has closed his portion of the report. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. I'm not going to say any more about that, but I think it's very, very important for our residents to be able to trust us. They have to, or we shouldn't even be up here. There's no point. Let's see. 2 for Kiki. Really? I think that's everything, but I'll wait for Kiki's report to get the other 2 questions out. And I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Next, we have on the agenda the interim city manager's report.
Thank you, sir. Staff has been working for the past several years on a Safe Routes to Schools grant through the DOT. Ben did receive word last week that we are going to receive $499,000 for the Safe Routes to School sidewalk grant for the 1000 and 1100 blocks of Georgia and New York Avenue. So we will see those come through. We'll hopefully have the grant agreement in the next few meetings for you all to approve and see that project come to fruition. We have received word that the Wyoming HMGP project has been approved for construction. However, the ineligibility, or we received ineligibility for Acme Lane and Pine Forest Estates drainage improvement projects. So we will have to look at some other ways of grant funding opportunities or to fund that through the Stormwater Department. The proclamation earlier, we do have City Government Week coming up. There will be Coffee with the Commissioners October 20th at 7 a.m. It's going to be held at Wild Root this year. And we're going to have the art show reception October 28th at 4 p.m. Halloween, the gym will close at 5 p.m. We've got the 2 fall concert series left. This Friday, we have PCB Eclipse, and next Friday is Grateful Dad. So come join us in the park here for our last 2 concerts. Hawks Landing, we will look back at that. I know that was a couple years ago from the different plans and preliminary drawings, so we'll get back together with staff and reach out to you all and see if we can come up with a solution that everyone's happy with. One answer to Mr. Bashir's, the police is the general fund, so even though it's shifted out, it's still the general fund. It's not really shifting any money from the general fund. And the bank accounts mentioned in the report are still under review, and we will continue working through those, learning about those bank accounts, the processes of them, and what all has been purchased out of those through the past several years. Ms. Roman?
Ginger, how can I answer?
Okay, my first question for Kiki is, have we gotten a bill yet from Mr. Marcy for the 42-page letter?
Finance has not received a bill yet from Mr. Marcy.
Okay. I'll keep asking you that one. No bill received. Okay, then my next question, Panhandle Engineering. Do we pay them a set fee every month? Because it seems like we do give them quite a bit of money every month.
No, ma'am.
Or-
It's based on the projects that they're working on.
And the contract you told me was 5 years.
No, ma'am. There's the project, the contracts were approved in 2015. There were no end dates on the continuing service contracts. Once we've hired the new procurement manager, one of his things that he's working on is an RFQ for updated engineering, an updated engineering RFQ to advertise that.
Okay.
You remember we were talking about service contracts? This is one of them, and I brought
Yes.
up the audit agency, and yeah.
Okay.
That's part of that.
And who is the new procurement manager?
His name is Corey Bracey. You met him a few meetings ago. I believe it was a pre-commission meeting.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Can I answer any other questions?
Yes, I believe Mr. Bashir's had a question on the.
It was Bill Smith Electric. That one is our HMGP engineer, HMGP generator project. It's the 4 generators at lift station 2, 3, 4, and 5. That was the final pay request. We received that. So the state actually came out September 23rd, I believe, to do their final inspection. And then our grants team will start submitting the reimbursements to get for that project. And the other question was of interest, right? What is of interest?
Of interest is the monthly medical benefits for the staff. And let me assure you that I am reviewing the police accounts. That has taken up quite a bit of my time. I do not have a final report for you. I've just been reviewing. I do have further work to be done. Just at a high level, there are currently 3 bank accounts with police money in them. There are not large balances. One has, let me get here. One has $1,400 in it currently. Another one has $3,600 in it currently. And the third one has $595. Will continue my research on what was spent and the documentation that we have, and I'll get back to you at a later date. Have specific questions about the police bank account?
That's all for me. Oh, I'm sorry. We also have Employee of the Quarter.
So it's my honor to announce that Communications and Marketing Coordinator Ebony Burrell, always just say Ebony, is our Employee of the Quarter. Ebony has been with the city's Communication and Marketing Group for 2.5 years. It's been that long. It's gone by fast. She has played a central role in planning, coordinating, and executing our city-wide events that we all enjoy. She creatively approaches challenges, coming up with new ideas to keep things fresh and interesting for our citizens and guests. She is dependable, punctual, accountable, and often works at various times to get the job done, including many evenings and weekends. Lastly, she continued to work on her own personal improvement and growth by recently completing her master's in public administration from FSU while holding down the full-time job. For these reasons, Ebony represents the excellent crew of employees we have working for the city, and that's why we're recognizing her as our Employee of the Quarter. Thank you, Ebony.
Also, I would like to recognize her for the photographs that you put on. I feel like I've been to the event when I look at your photographs. And that last week, it was just this last weekend, we had that pumpkin painting thing over there. Oh my gosh, it looked like 100 or 200 people were there. And talk about a great event. I mean, they were packed, but your pictures are amazing. Thank you.
Add to that, Commissioner, I think there were closer to 750 in the park. They had over 600 pumpkins and only had about 40 left. So lots of fun.
Wow, who sponsored that?
That was one of our sports and rec
Sports
events.
and rec. Okay. Well,
Art
they
in the
sure
park.
enjoyed it. Yeah.
All right. Moving on to the city attorney's report.
One thing I want to report on behalf of myself and your insurance defense attorney, Chad Dunn, we would like to hold an executive session with the commission to discuss pending litigation with Phoenix Construction. The substance of the session will involve settlement negotiations and strategy going forward if we're not going to move towards settlement. We'd like to hold that executive session next Monday, October 21st at 3:30 here. The 20th? I have the wrong. Monday the 20th then at 3:30. We expect it to last about an hour, maybe two. Chad Dunn, on behalf of your insurance defense, will be attending, as well as Kevin and I, the commission, and we will have a court reporter. And I'll be sending a notice to CJ to get published to put the world on notice of that. But I wanted to publicly invite you here before that happened then. Yes, ma'am.
I have one question, Amy. At what risk, or I can't believe there's not a risk, but how much is the insurance company willing to pay out for all these lawsuits?
I don't know the answer to that, but I suspect Chad will know and be able to advise you if he knows on Monday.
Okay, thank you.
The other thing I would just add is you skipped agenda item number 4 regarding additions, deletions, modifications of the agenda, and I did prepare a resolution to excuse the mayor from this meeting that I'd asked that you approve before you get into the rest of your business.
All right, cool. I noticed I missed that too, so I was going to ask to put it in the consent agenda, but thank you for reminding us. So, would anyone like to make a motion to excuse the mayor?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve, and we have a second. Any public commentary? All right. Any discussion from the commission? All right, Mr. Lightfoot, could you please call the roll?
Commissioner Ward?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peebles?
Yes. Motion passed. All right, moving on to the consent agenda, approval of minutes dated 09/23/25 regular meeting minutes, the 1911 Platt Residential Paint Program application at 1401 Mississippi Avenue, declaring asset 431 as surplus and authorize staff to auction off on govdeals.com, and approval of temporary road closure of 10th Street from Pennsylvania Avenue to Highway 77 from November 14th at 3 p.m. through November 15th at 3 p.m.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve and a second. Do we have any discussion on the consent agenda?
Mayor Pro Tem, real quick, even though the item doesn't include it there on the subject line of for 12, that road closure will also include Pennsylvania from 9th to 10th.
Okay.
So it will be all be at the same time.
I know I asked you this already, but do you want to say what it's for so that since we're talking about
That is
it?
for our Winter Wonderland event.
Okay.
And that is so the vendors can get set up
Winter
prior to the event starting.
Wonderland. It's a lot of
Wondered
vendors
what it
too.
was. That's good.
That is one of the best events of the year.
Now,
All right.
are you saying that 9th will be closed as well, or just
No, sir. It will be Pennsylvania from 9th to 10th and 10th Street from Ohio to Pennsylvania.
there's a lot of booths? You got a lot of people coming.
All right, do we have any discussion amongst the commission?
Could I ask what the surplus?
Yes, ma'am. There is a photo and the asset form there in the packet. It is one of the old Ford Expeditions
Yeah, it
from
looks
the
like
fire
a
department.
red
The
Ford Blazer.
vehicle's been replaced already.
Thank you.
Very sporty.
Do we have any
Matches your shirt.
do we have any public commentary? All right, Mr. Lightfoot, could you call the roll?
I'm sorry, was there a motion from?
Me.
Okay. A second from Commissioner Perno. Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peebles?
Yes. All right, moving on to old business. This is a public hearing, so you have to.
Before Chris starts reading the ordinance, you're seeing this a third time because we're correcting a transmittal to the state. The ordinance itself has not changed, but for the addition of an R to the ordinance number, which I recommended we add to signify to the state that this is the same but different. We are reading this a third time. We have advertised a public hearing for you to read it again so that we can timely transmit it to the state this go round and get it approved and pushed through.
All right. So, public hearing opens at 6:59.
Mr. Lightfoot, go ahead and read the ordinance, I think.
An ordinance of the City of Lynn Haven, Florida, amending the city's comprehensive plan to implement the evaluation and appraisal report required by Section 163.3191 Florida statutes, amending elements to meet the requirements of Section 163.3177 Florida statutes, basing the amendments upon permanent and seasonal population estimates and projections published by the Office of Economic and Demographic Research for a 10-year and 20-year planning period, amending Chapter 1, the future land use element, Goal 1, Objective 2, Policy 2-1-04, adding group homes, amending Objective 10, Natural Resource Protection Policy 10-3, develop and maintain a stormwater master plan, amending Chapter 3, Housing Element, to update policies, amending Chapter 4, Infrastructure Element, to update the level of service standards in Goal 1, Policy 1-1, and Goal 2, Objectives 1 through 6, continued provision of facilities to meet existing and projected demands, amending Chapter 5, Coastal Management Element, Goal 1, Objective 3, Policy 3-6, to include the requirements of the Deer Point Protection Zone, and adding Goal 3, Objectives 1 through 7, preparing, adapting, mitigating, and managing climate change impacts in compliance with Section 380.093, Subsection 3, Florida statutes, related to sea level rise, amending Chapter 7, Recreation Open Space Element, Goal 1, Objective 1, to update population projections and facility provision, amending Chapter 9, Capital Improvements Element, Goal 1, Objective 1, Policy 1-2, to update infrastructure level of service standards, and updating Objective 8, Figure 9-1, Schedule of Capital Improvements for the 5 and 10-year planning period, including projected revenue sources, to ensure the availability of public facilities needed to maintain adopted level of service standards, providing for severability of provisions, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing for an effective date.
All right, do we all have that memorized? All right, is there a motion for this?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a second. Is there any discussion among the commission? Any public commentary? All right, Mr. Lightfoot, could you please call the roll?
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peebles?
Yes. All right, moving on to item number 14, discussion and possible approval of resolution 2025-10-476, memorializing regular commission meeting times. City Attorney?
So this resolution is in response to the discussion you had at your last meeting. It does three things. Going forward, it states that each of your regular meetings will be held the second and fourth Tuesdays of each month, beginning at 5:30. It provides for only one meeting in November and December, being on the second Tuesday at 5:30, and then it provides for a automatic rescheduling of your Tuesday meeting where it falls on a federal holiday.
All right, do we have a motion for this?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve on the floor. We have a second. Is there any further discussion among the commission?
Oh, yes, would you read it, Chris?
Yeah, that's a resolution, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
A
Sorry.
resolution of the City of Lynn Haven, Florida, related to meeting times, providing for regular meetings to commence at 5:30 p.m., 2 meetings a month except in November and December, and 1-day postponement of meetings that conflict with federal holidays, replacing resolutions or policies in conflict, and providing an immediately effective date.
All right. So we have the motion, we have the second. We've said no further discussion, or do you guys have anything else to say? Do I have any public commentary? Got one. Thank you, sir.
I guess I'm part of the night club since we've got a club of people. I was wondering who was taking attendance on how many people we had here tonight, since we're going to start comparing, I guess. But no, in all seriousness, I think that's a good thing. The availability of people that was mentioned before, I think it's smart to move all the meetings to 5:30. So I would encourage all to vote for this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great idea to keep a number, though.
Any further public commentary? All right, we have a motion on the floor with a second. Mr. Lightfoot, could you please call the roll?
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno? Commissioner Tender? Sorry, y'all started a pattern. Threw me off.
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peebles?
Yes.
And, sir, before you get started on the new business, you may all see the agenda is a little different tonight. We have talked about the transparency of the purchasing, even though some items have been approved in the budget, or all of these items have been approved in the budget already. We are bringing a resolution to the commission for each of these items. Hopefully, as we progress into this new method, we will move some of these to the consent agenda. However, each purchase will have a resolution. If approved by the commission tonight, it will be signed, and then it will be attached to the requisitions that the appropriate department uses for the purchase of whatever good this is.
Okay, thank you. I got a question for the attorney. Kind of new to this whole gavel thing, and I forgot to close the public hearing.
It's okay.
So, all right.
All right. The minutes will reflect if we moved on.
All right, thanks. Just want to make sure we're good to go. All right. Why don't we take a 5-minute recess before we get into the new business? So, meeting is paused at 7:06. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Who did? Okay. Disregard. I'm gonna give us about 2 more minutes still. Ask, is the sound better now? Okay. Okay.
Testing, testing.
All right, everybody, make sure you're talking really close in the mic like this.
Testing, testing.
All right. Moving on to new business, number 15. Discussion and possible approval of resolution 2025-10-477, approving a memorandum of agreement between the city and Bay County Sheriff's Office related to information technology support and use of the Bay County Sheriff's Office software in a monthly amount of $5,714.29. City Attorney?
I'm going to have Chris read it first.
Okay.
A resolution of the City of Lynn Haven, Florida, approving a memorandum of cooperation or agreement between the city and the Bay County Sheriff's Office related to information technology support and use of BCSO software in a monthly amount of $5,714.29.
Okay, so the agreement tonight actually is brought to you for 2 reasons. One, as the staff finds purchases that have exceeded $35,000 and require commission approval, they are trying to act and make sure that those purchases get in front of you. So when this one was brought to me, I rejected it because it was between the sheriff's office and the police department, and the police department itself is not sui juris. The agreement needed to be between the sheriff's office and the city. So I reached out to the sheriff's office to get the contract revised to reflect the city as the proper contracting party. In all other respects, the agreement is the same as it was when it was first entered. Regarding the services and the price, it has not been otherwise changed, but staff request its approval because I understand it is a necessary and good thing. I would defer to Chris or the acting police chief to speak about what it does if there are specific questions.
Sir, do you have anything to add to what it does?
So in essence, that's going to be basically our operating system. There are programs on there that we use. So it's, we used to use Tyler, who I think also has Munis, which is what the city uses. So I guess kind of compare that to what police would do. It's the way we operate. It's our reporting forms that we use, stuff like that. So that's what this program is. We used to have Tyler years ago, but we went with the sheriff's office. There's a few benefits that I'm not sure what the cost difference is, but one of the big benefits of it is when we use the system that the sheriff's office has, Panama City's using it, Panama City Beach is using it, so we're all kind of interconnected. We can pull up reports and stuff like that, which is before would take a lot longer. We can do things instantaneously. The other benefit for us is with the sheriff's office program, if we make an arrest, we can load complaints and booking sheets directly to the jail. It goes to the cloud. We don't have to hand carry them down there like we used to. When CID, let's say they're investigating somebody who's already in jail, if they are investigating a case and wind up charging that person who's housed in the Bay County Jail, in the past, they would have to type out a complaint affidavit, print it, drive out to the jail, and hand deliver it, whereas now they can upload it to the cloud and make a phone call. So that's basically what the system does.
Awesome. Anybody have any questions?
I have a question. Is the contract, and you might not be able to answer this, but is the contract drawn just with the sheriff's department, or is the actual sheriff, Tommy Ford, can he break this contract if he should leave? I mean, does that start it all over, or do they continue on?
No, this is entity to entity, so it's with the Bay County Sheriff's Office. It's not specific to Tommy Ford.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Thank you, sir. All right, do we have, Mr. Lightfoot, do you have anything to add?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and, is there a motion for this?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion to approve and a second. Do we have any more discussion amongst the commission? I would like to say personally, and thank you for finding this item and bringing it to us. I think it goes a long way showing that staff is going in and trying to find things to bring before the commission. I appreciate it personally. And so I would like to say thank you for that. And so we'll move on to public commentary. You guys are right next to each other, so you're going to have to play like rock, paper, scissors or something. I'm just kidding. We'll go with ladies first.
Jerry Bucker, Rhett Place. I have a question about information about the $68,000 contract that Chief Ramey had with Bay County Sheriff's Office. Does anybody have any information on that?
This is the contract.
This is it?
Yes, ma'am. We're cleaning up the contract because the contract was between the sheriff's office and the police department, whereas the police department is not its own entity like the sheriff's office. We, the city, have to have the contract. So
However, it was not approved by the
Right, so
commission
this item
prior.
is to
It was
clean-
done solely through Chief Ramey.
Right. So this item is to clean up that contract.
Thank you.
I have no problem with this technology. Being a procurement guy, I think piggybacking off of other entities' contracts is a great thing. You save a lot of money that way. Sounds like it's a benefit digitally too to bring us into the year we're in, 2025. I would hate to see the gas bill driving crap back and forth to the jail. I do have questions though, because you guys are here to, effectively, you're not ratifying this because, as Amy pointed out, the other contract was between the police department and the city. So you're not even ratifying that contract. Effectively, that one's been terminated and it's being replaced by this one. So you're actually doing it procedurally the correct way. But I do have a question for Chris is, one thing I know we had talked about was putting in place at a documentation level justifications for single sourcing contracts. Has that happened already? Has that been written up and filed for this contract action?
So that will be, well, I think what you're referring to is our revision of our procurement policy and the sole source that you and I talked about?
Yeah, well, it's actually in the current policy, and there should be a memo or something to justify why this isn't being competed for. Has that already taken place and been written?
I believe this one is, there's only one sheriff's office in Bay County, so.
Well, I mean, like he said, there's another software. So you'd basically, in that memo, you would say, hey, between these two softwares, we're going to sole source to this entity because XYZ reasons. Like that's the fundamental stuff the community needs to have in these actions to fight against fraud, waste, and abuse, to promote transparency. I applaud your hiring of the new procurement manager. He has a background similar to me. I think he'll take the city to the next level. So kudos to Chris for making that selection. That's the kind of stuff that we're going to be wanting to see. That's the kind of stuff that I'll be asking to see when I look for files. So I guess just if we can make sure there's a memo in there explaining that for this purchase, I would appreciate that as a procurement professional. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't see your hand earlier.
Well, this does, Arlene Harrison. This does sound like a program that would be of great benefit to our law enforcement community. And my question is, after the hurricane, after the next hurricane, are we going to be without communications like we were last time? Or was this going to be covered with this kind of cover? You know, after the last hurricane, nobody could talk to anybody. And so if we have another hurricane, is this, they have some sort of backup system, I'm assuming.
So this is totally unrelated to that, but since Hurricane Michael, AT&T has came out with a cell service called FirstNet for governments, and our cell provider is through FirstNet, so all of our city cell phones are on that service. So fortunately, we haven't had to test it yet, but if we go through another Cat 5 hurricane, hopefully it all works well.
I was assuming it had been taken care of by now, but, and so this system would also be on that.
No, ma'am, it's a totally different system.
A new system. It goes back to that 42-page document. And this was from Mr. Marcy, who was sitting here for a little while. It's on page 31. And so far, you've spent almost $49,000. And last year, you spent $68,000. And you had the chief of police thought he had signing ability. And I don't believe for 1 second that he didn't go to the city manager, that she didn't know about this. So the whole thing goes back to a forensic audit. State should be in here looking at everything, because this has been going on, people, for almost 2 years. 2 years. That's a lot of money, and that's taxpayer money. And I'd like to know what is, after almost 2 years, the return on investment. So I don't care that Panama City's doing it, Panama City Beach, etc. This is a bad look, and it causes other people in other counties, in other municipalities, to think they can do the same thing. This is a problem. And y'all need to clean your shop up.
Johnny Bashir's 811 Louisiana Avenue. I am almost sure that I knew about this cost and about this communication system prior to this coming up right now. I don't know whether it was a line item in the budget or if it's something that I saw somewhere, but I was aware of this. So it's not been hidden in the dark, as a few people are saying here. I'm pretty sure I was aware of it. It was a communication system to integrate with all the sheriff's department and with the other municipalities to make our response everything better. So I was somewhat aware of this, I'm sure, before this. So whether it was in the budget, I can't tell you if it was a line item in the police department budget, and I'm getting an affirmative that it was. So let's not say it was a secret hidden somewhere. Maybe some signing authority wasn't there, but it seems like I remember the commission approving this item back prior to this. But if people want to rewrite history, we need to follow back and go back and look and get the correct information and not just innuendo and perceptions.
All right, any further public commentary? All right, we have a motion on the floor and a second. Mr. Lightfoot.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peoples?
Yes. All right, moving on to number 16. Discussion and possible approval of Resolution 2025-10-478, approving the purchase of a front-end loader in the amount of $216,756.97. This is a resolution, so do you need to read it first, or do you want to explain it first?
Yes, sir, I'll read the resolution. A resolution of the City of Lynn Haven, Florida, approving the purchase of an 8-wheeled Komatsu front loader from Tractor and Equipment Company in the amount of $216,756.97. This is part of the stormwater budget. In answer to Mr. Bashir's questions about the front-end loader, garbage truck, boom truck, and the water meters, that is all out of our enterprise fund. So we operate that. Money's rolling in every month. Money's going out. So we try to keep it, of course, money going out, less than money coming in. But yes, sir, we are accumulating money monthly in those accounts to pay for equipment such as this.
All right, do we have a motion for this?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve in a second. Is there any further discussion?
What department's going to be using this piece of equipment,
Stormwater.
It's for the stormwater department.
which is,
The stormwater
It's
department.
part of Public Works. They take care of the stormwater culverts, the ditches.
okay, thanks.
All right, any public commentary? Mr. Langford?
So I spoke with Ms. Kiki before this. I just want to make sure this is a reasonable request. But I noticed on the agenda there are multiple purchases, and some of them have already budgeted in the fiscal year 26. What I would ask for going forward is maybe consider, since where we just came from with the budgeting, having to cut the budget to prevent raising the millage, et cetera, is all of these purchases would fall under three categories: planned, unplanned, and emergency. Emergency would be, a lift station failed. That's an emergency repair that has to happen, right? We couldn't project that expenditure. A planned expenditure would be something that department or that entity had planned on in purchasing that piece of equipment for that fiscal year's budget. An unplanned would be a piece of equipment that, it's not necessarily an emergency, but we need it. We just failed to plan for it. We failed to budget for it. I would ask that large expenditures, I don't know, I'm not going to attach a dollar amount to it right now, but any of these large expenditures would fall under one of those three categories as far as the agenda, so at least we know, was this a planned or was this an unplanned expenditure. As far as the money for this coming out of the stormwater fund, I don't understand how the stormwater, I'm assuming the stormwater assessment is buying the front end loader, but it's being used for what?
So the impact fees from stormwater is actually purchasing equipment, but it's being used to load the dirt for the trucks that go and do the stormwater culvert replacements. We've got to haul dirt. We've got to move ditch dirt around. I mean, it's used for a number of things.
So the money from stormwater is, and it's being used for stormwater. That was what I was curious about. Okay. All right. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Not assessment.
All right, I like that suggestion on the agenda, just to give a heads up. So, any further public commentary? All right, we got a motion to approve with a second. Mr. Lightfoot, can you call the roll?
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peebles?
Yes. Moving on to number 17, discussion and possible approval of Resolution 2025-10-479, approving the purchase of a side-end load garbage truck in the amount of $408,740.81. I'd like to read the resolution.
A resolution of the City of Lynn Haven, Florida, approving the purchase of a Labrie Atomizer Peterbilt side loader garbage truck from Environmental Products Group in the amount of $408,740.81.
We have a motion for this?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve in a second. Any further discussion?
Yes, I have a question. Do we already have one of these exact pieces of equipment that's not working?
We have that are aging out, yes, ma'am. We try to keep them replaced so that we don't have to sink a bunch of money repairing them.
Okay, so do we have one right now that's sitting somewhere that's not being used?
I'm sure we have one that's broken now, and I would have to check with the guys. They don't report everyone that goes down, but
Okay.
Are we under lease for one too?
we do have a lease. This will be replacing one of the leases.
I can say from my time in the Air Force, it saves way more money to buy new items and then to use them than to cannibalize old ones and continue to repair. You spend, depending on the size of the project, you spend thousands and thousands, up to millions of dollars just in man hours having to replace stuff. It makes way more sense to buy a new one over time if you can. But anyways, all right. Do we have any more discussion among the commission? Any public commentary? Mr. Langford?
I mentioned this before about the garbage, so, we're spending $400,000 on a garbage truck. You know, I think we might ought to look at, you know, should we look at the city contracting 1 or 2 garbage companies to haul the garbage in Lynn Haven? No? Okay. Yeah, I just want to throw that out. I don't know. I've not done a cost-based analysis or anything to determine would it save the city money in the long run, but, you know, I'm just throwing that out there.
Sorry if I comment. So I know this is something I looked into quite detail. I think we've talked about this before, where I think this is one thing that Lynn Haven does better than any city in Bay County, to include the county. By us doing the residential garbage service ourselves is why we're able to keep it as cheap as it is. A couple years ago, Panama City Beach actually had a special commission meeting just on garbage service. So they're one of the cities that you have to go find a vendor to go pick up trash. And you're talking maybe 6 different vendors to pick from. Now, typically, most of those people, they get two garbage pickups a week. So that means you could have 12 of those trucks going down your road, especially if it's a secondary road. It tears them up. Those, as Chris will tell you, or Mr. Lightfoot will tell you, those trucks are very hard on the roads. And it causes a lot of your roads to break down. You have to spend a lot more money on road infrastructure, which is why we pick up garbage once a week. So by us doing it, you only got 1 trash truck coming down your road every week, and it keeps down overhead, and we are the cheapest when it comes to the cost of trash pickup out of all Bay County. I've looked at it. Anything I missed?
No. Sanitation is the healthiest of our enterprise funds. We have no concern when it's time to purchase a new truck or make repairs from the sanitation fund.
And not only that, senior citizens, they get a discount, right?
Yes, sir.
You know, so it does keep overhead costs down a lot by the way we do it. So I'll try to find the meeting. I want to say it was like in August of 2024, 2023, something like that. Panama City Beach had that meeting. It was a good discussion. So
we do have drivers too that will go and actually pull the can for some of our elderly residents that can't pull it to the road. So we do offer a pretty good service for our sanitation team.
Hey, when I first moved here, I moved away when I was in the Air Force, came back. When I didn't realize I was doing my trash properly, they just gave me a little note, still picked it up for me, and then I corrected my mistake the next time. So they do a pretty good job of accommodating us. So.
The last thing I'll add is the reason Panama City Beach was having that special meeting is because they were spending so much money on their roads, and a lot of it attributed not just to the tourism, which definitely is a big factor in it, but those garbage trucks were a big factor in those roads just tearing up a lot quicker than they were expecting.
May I say something? And these, I just want to clarify too, this vehicle is the one that picks up other than garbage cans?
No, ma'am. This is just the garbage can. This is the side loader that picks up the residential cans.
Okay, that's it.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Yeah, the commercial side is all Waste Pro.
No, we pick up.
No.
City does.
The dumpsters, you know, the big dumpsters.
Dumpsters are contracted out through Waste Pro.
Right. Yeah, I'm talking about the trash that mostly in the country club.
So you're referring to the knuckle booms with the yard debris.
Okay.
This is not that truck. This is the side loader. There is an item.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There is an item for the knuckle boom truck as well. So we plan to purchase 1 side loader this year and 1 knuckle boom.
Thank you.
Further public commentary? Further public commentary?
A question about Mr. Warwick. You said the trash trucks come through once a week. Is there any socioeconomic groups in the community that are getting twice a week pickups? A thing for anybody?
Residential garbage?
Yeah.
No, sir.
Okay. So if a truck comes through twice a week, it's just because you're on the edge of the zones, and so maybe they just need to use your road to get through.
Or a through fare, right?
Okay. I was just wanted to clarify because I was like, that trash truck definitely comes out my road twice a week, but he doesn't pick up my trash twice a week. But that makes sense if nearby is on another pickup day, you may need to use my road to get to that area. So, okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, where I live, I'm on Tuesdays, and I believe just 3 streets down is Thursdays or something. So it just happens to be the zone. Yes, sir.
I live 514 New York, Mark Brumiller. The secondary roads, I've noticed, are very uneven. So it puts a lot of wear and tear on these trucks. So that's another thing you might need to look at in the future. I mean, there's some dips. I see some of those trucks bottom out, scrape up the land. So that's a big problem. Because a lot of people put their garbage on the secondary roads versus on the main road. So I don't know, is it going to be one or other?
Thank you. Good point. Any further commentary? All right, we got a motion on the floor with a second. Mr. Lightfoot, can you call the roll?
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peoples?
Yes. Motion passed. Moving on to item number 18, discussion and possible approval of resolution 2025-10-480, approving the purchase of a knuckle boom truck in the amount of $238,000. It's a resolution, so
A resolution of the City of Lynn Haven, Florida, approving the purchase of a Peterbilt knuckle boom truck from Performance Peterbilt in the amount of $238,000.
all right, is there a motion for this?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Yes. So this is the vehicle that picks up
The
when
yard
they
debris-
call in for yard debris or
That, I mean,
furniture or whatever.
They also run routes. So, I mean,
Okay.
there's a normal route, and then it does pick up special pickups as well.
Do we charge for that?
Special pickups?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Part of the fee schedule.
Okay, so we do charge for that. Do you have any idea what we make on that a year? How much we make on extra pickups like that?
There's only one revenue item for the sanitation department, so any extra fees goes into the same line item. I wouldn't be able to do that for you. I might be able to have our utility billing department produce a report, but I wouldn't be able to give it to you today.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any further discussion? Any public commentary? All right, we got a motion on the floor with the second. Mr. Lightfoot, can you call the roll?
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Peoples?
Yes. All right, motion passes. Moving on to number 19. Discussion and possible approval of Resolution 2025-10-481, approving the purchase of a new Sutphen Extreme Duty Fire Engine in the amount of $1,036,122.00 as approved by the Commission in the fiscal year 26 budget.
A resolution of the City of Lynn Haven, Florida, approving the purchase of an extreme-duty custom fire engine from Sutphen Corporation in the amount of $1,036,122.
Chief, is there anything you'd like to speak on this?
Commissioner Fire Chief Mark Johnson. This truck is going to be replacing a 1998 truck that we have in service right now. That's very, very unreliable. It's part of our plan to get new equipment in here that's been just sitting around and failing us for the last several years. So staff has just recommended to approve this so we can continue the purchase process.
Will that old vehicle have any resale value?
A little bit, not much.
The county has reached out to us to look at that to see if they may be interested in purchasing and refurbishing. So they're going to come look at it, and they may be interested in making an offer to us.
I would love to hear the offer when it comes in.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, is there a motion for this?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, any further discussion from the commission?
I have to ask one more question of Kiki. Is this a sound financial move?
Yes, ma'am. As Fire Chief said, he has a very aging fleet. And a 1998 engine is far beyond its useful life. It should have been replaced years ago. We are, just so that you're aware, you did approve this for us to use surtax money to buy this.
All right. Any public commentary? Mr. Walker?
Good evening. Sorry I'm late. I know you didn't miss me. This is interesting because the Commissioner asked a question about how much you were going to get for it. I think it's already been traded.
No, sir, that's a different truck.
It's a different truck?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. This truck, we're going to be paying for it, and you're approving the payment, but it's already on site.
No, sir, that's a different truck.
It's a different truck?
Yes, sir.
Oh. And end of discussion.
So the first truck we received was a legislative appropriation the commission approved back in July or in August. The second truck is the purchase, that's this one, and then we also will be purchasing a third rescue truck this fiscal year as well.
Okay, with these purchases, it goes, this is $1 million, okay? We pay for it. Do we get reimbursed for that?
No, sir, that's a different truck. The first one, the
Got a lot of
first one,
different trucks here.
the first legislative appropriation
Okay.
that we've already purchased, that we've already had the dedication ceremony for, that truck is received. We will receive reimbursement for that truck.
That's right.
This truck was approved in the budget as half-cent surtax money. We will purchase this truck. They will send us an invoice. We will pay that payment. There is no reimbursement for this one. It's our money. The third truck is a rescue truck. It was purchased with impact fee money. We will purchase that truck, receive an invoice. We will pay it. We will not get reimbursed for that one.
Okay, good. That straightens out the trucks. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any further public commentary? All right, we have a motion on the floor with a second. Mr. Lightfoot, if you call the roll.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peebles?
Yes. Motion passed. Moving on to item number 20, discussion and possible approval of Resolution 2025-10482, approving the purchase of thermal imaging cameras in the amount of $77,920 as approved by the Commission in the fiscal year 26 budget.
A resolution of the City of Glen Haven, Florida, approving the purchase of 8 thermal cameras from Municipal Equipment Company, LLC, in the amount of $77,920.
Any questions for the fire chief? All right.
Just a reminder, these items that we're purchasing are the items that we use in zero visibility to find people when we can't see. They're the cameras that we use all the time during search and rescue for family members.
Thank you. Is there a motion for this?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we got a motion to approve by Commissioner Warwick and a second by Commissioner Perno. Is there any further discussion? Any public commentary? All right, Mr. Lightfoot, if you call the roll.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peebles?
Yes. Motion passed. Moving on to item number 21. Discussion and possible approval of Resolution 2025-10483, approving the purchase of 24 sets of bunker gear in the amount of $111,514.80 as approved by the Commission in the fiscal year 26 budget. Do we have any questions on this for the fire chief?
Do the
resolution. my
A
bad.
resolution of the City of Glen Haven, Florida, approving the purchase of bunker gear from Municipal Equipment Company, LLC, in the amount of $111,514.80.
And how many firemen do you have?
24.
Exactly. Oh, so if you hire another one, they're going to have to go.
Well, we have backup gear that we'll put them into until it's all custom gear. So we'd have to order it, but we have gear that we can put new firefighters in. This is the gear that is part of a state push to have a second set of bunker gear that does not have cancer-causing PFAS agents in it. So that's why we're buying the second set. So a firefighter would go fight a structure fire, they would have all the carcinogens on them. They would get out of that gear, they would go back and shower, and then have a clean set of gear that they could go into for the remainder of their shift.
Wow. Huh. You already know that the gear has cancer.
It's been going on
properties?
for years that they've been doing research on this gear, and the way that it's made has had some kind of, it's called PFAS, which is a cancer agent. So all manufacturers of bunker gear are now required to go to a non-PFAS gear system. So we're getting ahead of it, and this will reduce the exposure to the firefighters to cancer over a longer period of time.
Wow, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do we have any more questions? Is there a motion for this?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we got a motion to approve by Commissioner Perno, seconded by Commissioner Warwick. Is there any more discussion from the commission? Any public commentary? All right, Mr. Lightfoot, if you call the roll.
Commissioner Perno,
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick,
Yes.
Commissioner Tender,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peebles.
Yes. Motion approved. Moving on to discussion item, or agenda item rather, 22. Discussion and possible approval of resolution 2025-10484, approving the purchase of water meters and transmitters in the amount of $749,060.
A resolution of the City of Lynn Haven, Florida, approving the purchase from Core and Main of water meters and transmitters for the city's water meter AMI program in the amount of $749,060. This is just part of our annual water meter and transmitter program. We are approximately 6,000 meters as of Saturday that are on the AMI program. This is to continue purchasing those so that staff can continue on with the installation until we finally get the piggyback contract from Panama City Beach to help out with the install.
Are we still behind on water meters as far as people in their homes and stuff? Does everybody have a water meter?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right, do we have a motion for this?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Perno, seconded by Commissioner Warwick. Is there any more discussion from the commission? All right, any public commentary? All right, could you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Perno,
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick,
Yes.
Commissioner Tender,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peebles.
Yes. Moving on to item number 23, discussion and possible approval of resolution 2025-10485, approving a 60-month contract with Samsara for the purchase of licenses, hardware, and accessories necessary for GPS units in the amount of $287,937.
A resolution of the City of Lynn Haven, Florida, approving a 60-month contract with Samsara for the purchase of licenses, hardware, and accessories necessary for GPS units on city vehicles in the amount of $287,937. So, a couple things on this. In answer to Mr. Bashir's question about is this worth it? Absolutely. So, it's on every vehicle aside from police and fire. It can track where the vehicle is. It takes a log history of the vehicle's trip history for the day. You can go back to any date and see exactly where the vehicle is. You can also run engine diagnostics on it. Tells you if it's been run out of fuel, the fuel consumption on it, if the vehicle's idling excessively. Commissioner Tender, you mentioned employees at breakfast. If you would call me when you see that, I can pull up on the GPS and know exactly who's there at what time. We've called employees that we had a resident call and ask, you know, what city truck was outside of my house. I saw it parked there, but I didn't see an employee anywhere. We were able to locate which truck that was, and it was a water meter reader who had just parked and was walking down the road and then left the truck there. So it is very handy to have this. Most municipalities are now going to this type of program. We've had it since 2021. This is just renewing the contract, and it is much more feasible to renew this contract than it is to go out to bid and purchase all new equipment and have to remove all of that equipment from the vehicles and purchase all new software for staff to use.
Yeah, I know when I sat down with Mr. Lightfoot preparing for the meeting, and I asked him about this, he had it right on his phone, and he showed me, gave me like a quick demonstration of how it works, and it's pretty impressive. So it definitely pays for itself.
I believe that myself, Ms. Hodges, and Brian Roberts with Fleet can see the entire city, and then each department head can see their respective department and where their vehicles are. It also has cameras on the garbage trucks. So if someone calls in and says that their can has been missed, we can pull it up, see that the can was not there, or see that the driver did miss the can. And it's also been used in some wrecks for the dash cam on some of the garbage trucks.
Not only that, don't they use that to see if someone's got more cans than there actually are in their account?
They use a physical count for that, but yes, sir, they could utilize that if necessary.
All right. Do we have a motion for this?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Motion approved by Commissioner Perno, seconded by Commissioner Wark. Do we have any further discussion from the commission? Any public commentary? All right. We'll start with Mr. Walker and then Mr. Scray.
Question, $287,937 for a 60-month contract. Is that the total price for the 5 years?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
What's the total fleet count that this is going on? Like how many vehicles roughly?
I believe last count we had total of like 213 pieces of equipment as far as vehicles. 263 pieces of equipment, including vehicles. That was trucks, backhoes, excavators. We have a few of these on some of our bypass, trailer-mounted bypass pumps. We have a few on some of the more expensive lawnmowers. I could get an updated count, but last time we looked at that, it was like 263.
Okay, so everything except for police vehicles.
Police and fire.
Is there any tracking mechanism for those?
They have their own tracking mechanism that is ran in dispatch.
Like we're able to like verify, because this came up in the community once, that like officers were taking their vehicles.
But that is a police function. You do not want police vehicles on a Samsara software that can be easily hacked, and people will know what police
we
vehicles.
do have a system to know if,
Yes,
like,
sir.
for example,
the police
one,
department has their own.
I'm not saying this is the case, but if one took one on a weekend to Mexico Beach, we would know that.
Correct.
Okay. And then also, you said there's cameras, but they're only on the garbage trucks?
Yeah, there's very few of the pickup trucks that have a camera. There are a few, but that is a more expensive item, so we just have those in the garbage trucks and the knuckle booms. I think there's like 5 or 6 total pickup trucks that actually have the cameras.
Okay. And then also, is there a window of time in which employees are allotted within their workday, a specific window of time for them to take meal breaks?
Absolutely.
What is that time?
It varies by department. Some guys take their lunch from 11:30 to 12 that have a 30-minute. Some do 12 to 1 if they have an hour. It just varies by department.
Okay. What's the earliest anybody works excepting the police and fire?
On a normal day?
Yeah.
7 to 4.
7 to 4? Okay. Thank you.
Any further public commentary? All right, we have a motion on the floor with a second. Mr. Lightfoot, if you could call the roll.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Wark?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peoples?
Yes. All right, I have a question for the attorney. Since the way these next few agenda items are listed, it says discussion and possible approval to authorize the mayor to execute a task order. Do I just replace that with Mayor Pro Tem, or do we have to table these until the mayor is here? Okay.
No, you don't have to table, and the mayor's coming in to sign, so no amendment is necessary to the
Okay.
motion.
All right, so I'll just say it as is, and then he'll sign it. Perfect. All right. Item number 24, discussion and possible approval to authorize the mayor to execute a task order with Panhandle Engineering in the amount of $146,399.00 for lift stations 11 and 47 improvements.
Yes, sir. So lift station 11 and 47 have both been on our capital improvement list for some time now. If you recall, lift station 47, we had an emergency repair back in fiscal year 25. We were able to do the piping at that time inside the station to make that repair. This will include new pumps, new panel, and lift station 47 will have a new force main that leaves lift station 47, travels down 6th Street, makes a new tie-in. It will eliminate how it is now currently tied into lift station 1, and that lift station surcharges constantly, especially during high flow events, so it will help the flows better in that area. Lift station 11, we bid out back in 2023. It's at the corner of Texas, and I believe that is 11th Street, and we could not afford the change or the upgrades at that time, but that lift station is also in dire need of repair. And this is just the engineering for that. Once the plans are complete, we will bid the project out and bring back to the commission for award.
All right, do we have a motion for this?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion approved by Commissioner Perno, seconded by Commissioner Wark. Is there further discussion from the commission?
Yes. I wanted to just know, do you have the bidding process for what Panhandle bid for this, and who was the second?
We have continuing service contracts, so this is part of their continuing service contracts.
So they can bid whatever they want.
No, ma'am, there's guidelines to it. I believe state statute now is $4 million of construction cost and $500,000 in engineering fees, I believe, but can review that to be sure, but I believe that's what the new statute is.
Any further questions or discussion? Any public commentary?
I just don't understand why you're still using Panhandle. I just don't understand why you're still using Panhandle. You know, you had a deposition. There were some things that went on with Panhandle. I don't understand it. And just for the record, on page 31, it was clear that the sheriff's contract did not come before the board. It was signed. It was over the $35,000 threshold, and it did not come before the board. Page 31 of the 42-page document that this city now has to pay for.
Any further public commentary? We'll say I don't think anyone's disputing that last statement. I think that was the reason we brought it forward, was because of that. All right, so if there's no further public commentary, is the wait, dude, I'm getting so fatigued. This is a long meeting, guys. Holy cow. All right. Mr. Lightfoot, would you call the roll?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Perno.
Yes.
Commissioner Wark.
Yes.
Commissioner Tender.
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Peebles.
Yes. Motion approved. All right, moving on to the next one, which is number 25. Discussion and possible approval to authorize the mayor to execute a task order with Dewberry Engineers in the amount of $50,871.81 for the Merrick entrance drainage improvements.
Yes, sir. This was also another emergency repair back in fiscal year 25. We hired a contractor to come in. The road was starting to cave in on Arthur Drive, right at the Merrick entrance there. There's a stormwater crossing. The concrete pipe had started separating. So we made the emergency repair back then. We plan to budget this fiscal year to design it and get a preliminary construction estimate, and we will bring that before the commission. We do not have construction dollars in the budget right now, just the design. So this is just to get that designed.
All right. Do we have a motion for this?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Motion approved by Commissioner Perno, seconded by Commissioner Wark. Is there further discussion by the commission?
Mayor Pro Tem, this is also utilizing a continuing service contract for engineering.
Thank you. Public commentary? All right, Mr. Lightfoot, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Wark?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Peebles?
Yes. Motion passed. Moving on to item number 26, discussion and possible approval to change and transfer the street lighting to the city of Lynn Haven from the Mill Bayou HOA.
Yes, we recently had a request from the villages of Mill Bayou for the transfer of their street lighting. Their contract's about to end with Florida Power. I did contact Florida Power and asked them what our lights would cost. We've only approved like 3 types of lights. When they initially started the development, they used lights that we weren't approving. That's why they took them over themselves. So Florida Power did reach out and said, if you use this particular light that you normally use, the cost could be reduced to $1,200 a month. So it's really, I guess, the board's decision whether you want to take over the lighting in there or not.
All right. So I know this is kind of a hot topic, so I'm just going to open it up with discussion first. We can talk about it, ask questions, then we'll have a motion. There are people out in the seats that have put their name down for public commentary, so we'll let you go first, and then if there's any more public commentary after that. So I guess my question would be, if this is approved, the city will be responsible for the approximate $1,200 a month?
Correct. That covers the installation, the monthly maintenance, and the monthly power for the lights.
Okay, and as of right...
They're currently paying a little over $2,500 a month for that specific type of light.
And we're currently paying $0.
We're not paying anything. If we did it and changed it out, it would run $1,200 a month.
To us.
With our approved lights.
Right. So, here's my opinion. This is the equivalent of a government buyout, and I don't like it. I will say this. I think there's an agreement that we can come upon. I think there's a fair compromise that somehow if we allow the lights to go to the $1,200 a month and they pay the $1,200 a month, that's still cheaper for them. So at the end of the day, that's a win for them. That's less money if we can figure out a way to do that.
Well, they might be able to negotiate with Florida Power and get the same lights.
Mm-hmm. Right. So if we can figure out a way to get them they still pay the $1,200 and not us, I'm fine to work with them on that. As far as us just taking it over, we've already cut out Halloween and some other things because we got a tight budget. I don't think it's the time to take over someone's lights because of a decision they made years ago.
So I think this is going to open up a can of worms where other subdivisions will look at, well, can they take this over? Can they take that over? Like drainage and stormwater ponds, lighting. I know the one you're talking about with the country club, from my understand, actually our historian might be able to tell us, from my understand that was pretty heated discussion and it was a split vote when they approved the country club road, turned it over to the city.
It was.
I heard it was a 3-2 vote.
3-2.
So I just think it opens the doors to other things, and we are in a state of budget constraint at this time. And, I just don't think it's a good idea.
I was contacted by another subdivision about this same thing today. But I did not respond back, waiting for this conversation.
And Bobby, just for the record, the only 2 subdivisions left that we do not take care of is the villages of Mill Bayou and Wood Run, correct?
Correct. Wood Run subdivision on 26th Street.
So the streets, we take care of the streets at Mill Bayou.
Yes, ma'am.
About 120 homes plus.
The streets, yes.
Mm-hmm. Do we pick up garbage there too?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So do they pay us taxes?
Yes, they pay taxes.
Thank you.
I think I know where you're going with that, and I also pay taxes, and I don't live in Mill Bayou, so.
I'm gonna go. I know where we're going with this, and just to say, I don't like it either. But we got to look at. We take care of the rest of the city, right, Bobby? Everywhere else but these two subdivisions.
Correct.
And we're the city of Lynn Haven. If we're gonna grow, there's Grants Mill, there's Derby Woods. There's these other developments out here, and Wood Run is in Lynn Haven proper, but we need to take care of our jagged edges, and I'm looking at a bigger picture. It's like we need to think about the services that we have and get people to join Lynn Haven, not go against Lynn Haven. And this will just send a message that we're not ready to add anyone else to our to Lynn Haven, and which should be the opposite. So that's all I'm saying.
Well, I would like to piggyback on that and say, in a vacuum, I agree, except for the fact that
say we're on hard times and this and that, but you're taking a very myopic view of this as far as if you wanted to annex other places and go on.
That would be different.
We're taken care of now, and I understand that, but in the big picture, in the long run, we're kind of turning our back on some other things.
Yeah, but the thing here is that Mill Bayou was told ahead of time that they shouldn't use these lights, from my understanding, and then they did anyways. It's not, if we were to annex in someone else, we would give them the opportunity to change.
This
the
was
lights.
done. This was all done through a development agreement.
Right, you're preaching to the choir. I understand everything that's going on there, and I know where we're going with it. I'm just saying it just doesn't look good to grab on to other neighborhoods.
We didn't force them to sign up for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
One of the things that concerns me even more than the street lights is the fact that we don't have any of Lynn Haven Police Department out there helping keep this traffic out of there. That's more important. I mean,
Yes,
Yeah,
we
our
do.
police patrol out
do?
there.
Yes, ma'am.
How many police officers are there every day?
Well, we only have typically 3 on shift to handle all of the schools, so we can't have every officer out there, but we do have officers when necessary out there.
Right.
So one a
And
day?
It just depends on the day.
Okay, that's what I'm being told. Sometimes there's never any police there. And they park in a way that if, God forbid, if an ambulance or a fire truck had to get down that road, they would not. You know, then we'd have the same situation we had for David here. They couldn't get past the school thing and house burned to the ground. I was at that first commission meeting when we held that out there. So my heart really goes out to these people. I guess they could all move, you know. I mean, that's always their option. They can just move. But they're trapped. Any way you look at it, they're trapped.
There is now 2 roads into Mill Bayou now that Minge Branch Road is completed. So it's not just one way in and one way out any longer.
And what are the 2 roads?
Minge Branch Road.
The one that just
and
opened.
Mill Bayou
It's only been
Boulevard.
open for about a month.
Okay. Does that go out the back of the development?
It goes out to the side
Okay.
toward that other housing development.
Ties it into Titus Road.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there something we can do to help them get the other lights so that their bill is lower, but we're not responsible for paying for it? What can be done there? Because to me, it sounds like the issue is that it was the wrong type of lights, and that's why it costs more. Because
Well, I mean, we could speak with Florida Power and see if they'd make them the same deal, if that's what you're referring to.
I would ask Ms. Myers to weigh in, though. We do not need to be the negotiator for the subdivision to the FPA, to the power company. We do not need to be the middleman for their negotiations.
I would agree with that.
Well, the developer's here, isn't he?
The HOA president.
Oh, the HOA president.
Mr. Dosa? Yes, sir. Okay, he's the newest president out there. Which I think.
I'd love to hear from you and how you feel about it.
quick as possible. So yes, Mill Bayou had a developer, and he started back in 2014. And initially, they hated to have a lot of these decorative lights in order to entice people to come to the community. And eventually, it was like 5, 10, now 133, with 10 more townhomes coming on board. So what we have done is we've actually had the lights for the entire boulevard for many, many, many years, which benefited North Bay Haven as well as the new Arbor Trace apartments in Mill Bayou. You asked us, the commission has asked us for citizen action, so we went to the TDC, we took advantage of that to get more money for transportation and then the roads and things of that nature. We're now at a point after reducing the amount of lights that we have as well as changing the fixtures out. We had that initial obligation, the developer did, to have those decorative lights. We worked in conjunction with, Mr. Baker? Yes. With Mr. Baker and Florida Power and Lights in order to take those out and have the standardized city lights. And so, like, a lot of the things that, we think about, the HOA, and I hear that, HOA is like a second class or no class, but believe it or not, yes, we pay taxes. All stormwater, we are not exempt. Unless you guys are going to exempt us from all of those taxes, you can't. So we've been paid, faithfully paying for over 10 years into, the fund in order for this moment for the responsibility and the agreement to be executed where those lights are turned over in the best possible manner, in the most compliant manner that the city would accept. And so, we have partnered with North Bay Haven. We have allowed them to use they're not even our streets, they're public streets. So when we call law enforcement to kind of help us, like, hey, we have people, there's nothing an HOA can do. We can't tow anything unless they're parked in the grass. So we're kind of caught up in this. Now, our initial cost was, I think, like $2,700 a month is what we pay for those decorative lights to bring people to Lynn Haven. And so we even downgraded because it was like $3,500 initially. And so we've reduced it down as much as we can. But unfortunately, the Florida Power and Light, previously Gulf Power, those rates have raised. And so we have absorbed those costs for quite some time with very little asking back. Now we're just saying, let's honor that agreement. Let's get this back over to Lynn Haven because all those things drew people in. It got the Arbor Trace. There are people over on that backside with more D.R. Horton homes. People are used ours as a model to make other homes, whether it's down Cato Road, looking at our community, the way it's designed, the way it's laid out. Unfortunately, and I'm not trying to dog our developer, he seems like he's a good man, but he doesn't have deep pockets. He has pockets with holes in it. So if we ask him to fix things and do things, it's very difficult for him to do that. So essentially, it's down to the people of Mill Bayou, patiently waiting. We were asked, like, hey, would you all take, these lights? And it was not no, it wasn't yes, it was just wait. Because we didn't want to get between the third party, between us with our executed contract for the HOA as well as Florida Power and Light. We had to wait for that to expire to get to this point. So we have patiently waited, and we are here to just say out of 133 residents with 10 more townhomes and about 240 people we're trying to represent here. We are on the outskirts of Lynn Haven. Please don't forget about us. And I know you all had the forethought to even think about considering taking these lights. But I've been a lifelong Lynn Haven resident. My wife is born and raised here. I love being a Lynn Haven resident. I have worked with your planning commission to find out how do I change my city from Panama City to Lynn Haven. That's how much I appreciate the Lynn Haven image y'all are talking about. You're talking about citizen action. You're talking about image. We are doing it. So we went from here to the county, to the state, to the postmaster of Florida to allow us to change our name to Lynn Haven because we are proud Lynn Havens. We're not asking for a handout. We've been paying in the entire time. And us as citizens, we have showed up multiple times. Yes, we were not happy, but ultimately we accept what the commission has done. And we have done whatever we can, reaching out to these different commissions to say, what can we do? What do we need to do to help? And here I am, writing the letter, pleading our case. I'm an IT guy. I don't understand how construction or how law and things like that work. I work in cybersecurity. What I can tell you is we communicate effectively. We've worked with all your different agencies very effectively. I appreciate the forethought, Mr. Lightfoot and the commissioners here, as well as their officials have worked with us with the traffic concerns for North Bay Haven. We didn't sit there and scream and rant. We work with you. So we believe in this partnership between us, and we think that we can, we think this is a good a good buy. $1,200 a month is outstanding. And then again, it's not like we're exempt. We are still paying into the fund to help out. So we are not looking for a handout. We're just looking for our fair share and to be treated just like every other citizen that's paying taxes. Thank you. Pending any further questions.
I have one question for you. Is it true, and I just heard this, so I haven't checked it out, is there one street light per house, or how far apart are they?
There's there originally was all street lights that we paid for from Mill Bayou from the 390 all the way to the beginning of the community and maybe the first block of Mill Bayou, that original shore view. As we have grown, when our contract moved, we took those lights and we spread them out throughout the community to make it more lighted. And so what that did was it made our neighborhood much more inviting. So the North Bay Haven, they have their track people run through there. When they did HOCO just a month ago, they were able to go later at night, and they have that safety and that comfort and a welcoming neighborhood to allow people in. And so, again, we haven't had an incident for traffic or anything of that nature because of those lights that are in place. So we have, I think, about, I recall, I want to say it was like maybe 48 lights or something of that nature. We were going to trim some of them down, like on the boulevard, because we knew those were really close. But some of that was inherited from, the original installation. Any other further questions?
No, I was just going to say I appreciate your professional, tactful email. It was very well written, and I don't want you guys to think that if we don't approve, we don't love you guys. It's a difficult decision because to me, once we make this decision, what kind of can of worms we're going to open with other subdivisions? What are they going to come with and ask? And I know it came to us before, if I'm not mistaken, or you might know, where the lights over by the school, and I think that was even part of the development agreement, but we decided to take those ones over.
Right, we took it over right in front of the school up to the little bridge crossing. So from there to 390.
Right, and we decided to take those ones over. Mm-hmm. So, all right, thank you.
Okay, I have a question. So when you said that you're paying in, are you saying like just paying every month, or do you have like a pot of money sitting there?
Essentially, when we started back, in 2014, I moved into the neighborhood in 2018. That neighborhood was very appealing, and there was probably about maybe 15 or 20 houses. It might have got to 30 at that point. But what was your question one more time?
You said that you have been paying in.
As in city, as even though we are the city, the Panama City initially, we've always been taxpayers for Lynn Haven.
Okay.
So since the inception, we have always been Lynn Haven, and that's why I went around to try to correct with the postmaster, with the county, and everybody to say that we can change and utilize the Lynn Haven name for the city for our addresses. So for every assessment, impact fee, stormwater, whatever it was, we have everything everybody else is feeling. We're not immune. We feel the exact same thing. And so just as much as we can say, for this small community, we can burden them with this, you can move that decimal point and say, hey, well, 20-something thousand, Lynn Havians, they can absorb just as much. So no matter whether, you approve or you don't approve, the budget's is always gonna go up. Even in these tight times, it's tight times even for us. And so what we're asking is just to take this burden on, help us with that agreement, and take over the city lights because, for us in the HOA, we will take care of whatever we need to as the HOA. But since we have no enforcement ability for the streets, it just ties our hands. So thank you for the question.
What is it that is there anything that we can do as a city to help them get their costs down to the 1,200? Because to me, that's fair. Because so that's my question.
We are not the entity that decides the cost. That is all through FPL. So we know what our cost would be if we take the lights over at the $1,200 per month. But no, we do not know what their cost could get down to for that.
So I guess I should rephrase that. So do they already have the standard lights that they need, or is it still the old lights?
No, sir, it's still the old lights.
So if we were to help them get the standardized lights, that would probably bring down their costs.
As in, if they were to get the same lights that the city would require, what would their cost be? That is something they could ask FPL, yes, sir.
We have not received anything back from them.
Okay, thank you. Any more discussion from the commission? We'll take a vote. All right, is there a motion?
I'll go ahead and do it so it falls dead. Motion to approve.
I'll second so that we can have public commentary. Well, I can't here. What? Yeah, all right, I'll second it so that we can have public commentary. I have Ryan Scray on the list first, and then I'll get you next, Mr. Langford.
Yeah, I pre-registered for this one. Very adamantly against this. He makes convincing arguments, so I'll give him that. So I just want to read. One member of the community said, "I'm not against sharing costs if we have it within our budget to do so without raising HOA dues or levying a special assessment. The villages of Mill Bayou had more than 3/4 of our neighborhood moved into a high-risk flood zone last year, and now I had to take on a flood insurance policy I wasn't planning for. Also had my property taxes go up as well. Not Lynn Havens, though. You guys did great with that. It's assessed value and everybody else's taxes, millage rates that they increased. Don't really feel like taking on another unexpected cost of ownership." And that's kind of where it sits with me. Like I said earlier, it's $9 a month for each of these 133 properties. Ms. Tinder, it's 50 lights according to the city map that was provided. That's 2.66 houses per light. That is a better ratio than I have in my neighborhood. If you guys were to approve this, I look forward to getting more lights in my neighborhood and better lights at that. Because we, like he said, we all pay in. Now, if you guys want to consider bridging the gap, like Sam pointed out, one question I have is in this development agreement, what was the impact fee and how much of a lower impact fee did they get by taking on the lights themselves? Is that data we know?
There is no impact fees for lights.
So they didn't get any kind of discount with the city for this?
I mean, I was not here at that time, but no, I do not see how they would have gotten a discount.
Okay, so really it's between the members of the HOA and the developer. So what I would want to see here tonight is I would want to see this commission rescind your motion to table it. He said they're waiting on data from FPL. Give them that courtesy, get that data. Maybe they'll get the same $1,200 offer that the city got. I think if FPL's being fair, they'll offer the same thing. They should take on that $1,200 for 3 or 5 years. That'll be about $72,000. It'll take a lot less time for the city, the rest of us, to recover that amount if they fork it out for a few years. If we take this on right now, it's a little under $2 per property that we're all paying for their lights that we don't have in our own neighborhoods, and it will take 292 years for the city to recover that. My great-great-grandkids don't care to pay for their lights, and I'm just going to say that for them. I mean, $1,200, get the same deal, just cover it for at least 5 years. Let the city dig itself out. I mean, we just passed a millage. Now you're talking unbudgeted costs again. So figure out your own lights and take it on for a few years and then come back. Hell, maybe I'll be on the commission by then and I can vote yes on it.
Mr. Langford?
Yeah, this is, it's tough. I mean, I still stand where I said before. This is not the city's problem to solve. If we're saying that a taxpayer, or are we saying that streetlights are an essential service now? That if we're paying taxes that you have to have streetlights? Because that's what it sounds like. I'm with Mr. Scray. I mean, I look down Louisiana Avenue where I live, and Mr. Freddie across the street, he's got a street light that he pays for. It faces his house, but I think there's one street light on my street. You know how many kids we've had hit? None. How many issues we've had on my street? None. If there's a car parking issue on the street, I don't see how a street light resolves that, number one. Number two, we have ordinances in place already in the city that the law enforcement can enforce parking if it's blocking the street for emergency vehicles. So that's a non-issue. Again, I'll say it from the start. This is not the city's problem to solve. I feel for those people that they don't have streetlights. When's somebody going to start feeling for me? Because I don't have streetlights either. So that's kind of where I stand on it. Like I said, I did ride by, and I'm glad Ryan did the math on it, because I was about right. It was a streetlight about every third house over there. I'm not a math genius, I can tell you that, if you can't tell by how I talk. Anyway, I agree with Ryan. This is it's a no-go. Either vote it down or rescind the motion and pause it. I really don't even think we need to vote on it right now. I think it's a little bit early in the process. They don't have the data. Y'all don't have the data. And I agree with Mr. Lightfoot. We do not need to be the negotiating arm between an HOA and FPL. Thank you.
You know, I've lived at my house for 28 years, dead end road. I don't have a street light. There's the nearest street light is, I guess, about 400 feet at least from my house. But I don't have a HOA either. This is an HOA. HOAs exist for a reason. This can be one of them. If I wanted to be an HOA and have a street light, I might be able to do that. But I don't. I don't want to live in an HOA. You choose to live where there's an HOA. There's benefits to that, and this is one of them, in my opinion. Thank you.
So the only other question I have is, when we talk about this agreement, why would the chief infrastructure person even consider taking these lights? I think I might be missing that one piece. Would you all, when you all talking about, hey, the commission's been talking about possibly taking these lights, why would that even be a consideration? In other words, talking about this agreement, I heard about it, but I don't even know anything about it. Could you explain at least what that means, that there was originally an agreement with the developer?
When the developer first approached the city, he approached it as a T&D development. In that T&D development, they specified certain street lights and spacing. And they were told back then that if you want that, you can have that, but the city will not pick up the cost for those lights. If you want something special, you can pay for them. And the developer agreed to that. And that's how we got here. So he was adamant about putting in those specific lights and spacing. So. Right, but it's still not a light that we typically approve. Right.
I don't have a problem at all tabling it until they can get the cost
That's what I'm going to
themselves,
say.
so we can compare apples to apples.
Yeah, I'm going to rescind my motion and ask that we table this until we can reconvene and make a decision based on data, and hopefully there's a way that FPL might come through for y'all at a rate similar to ours. So let's hope for the best for everybody. You got to rescind your second.
I'll rescind my second.
Mayor Pro Tem, so Mr. Dawson, once you get your data and your pricing from FPL, if you will email it to Mr. Baker and myself, we will prepare another car and bring it back to the commission for consideration again.
Be happy to do that. Thank you.
We got to vote on the table first, don't we?
He rescinded it.
Yeah, but if you're going to table it, you got to vote
Yeah, we
on
got to
it.
vote to table it, so
Okay.
we need to vote.
Yeah.
He was just letting him know, I think. So do we have a motion to table it?
I'll make a motion that we table it based on the outcome of the data and the information coming back to us, and for city manager to put it back on the agenda.
Second.
All right, got a motion to table by Commissioner Perno, seconded by Commissioner Tinder. Is there any further discussion from the commission? Any further public commentary?
Why are you tabling this? If they come back with a quote, it's the same as ours, are you going to put the cost on them? If they come back with a quote the same as it is today, are you going to put the cost on them or on us? I see no benefit to tabling this. They can negotiate their cost, but why table it? Your decision, are you going to change your decision based on the cost, on whether you're going to pass it on to the citizens or not? Or to the rest of Lynn Haven, I should say, because they are citizens of Lynn Haven. They've
Yeah.
always been citizens of Lynn Haven.
They pay taxes. They want to come back and bring it to us again. We'll fight the fight again another time.
But what fight are you fighting?
Hey, maybe, you know what, Johnny? Maybe they come back and FPL gives them a rate like ours, and they don't come back with data, and they pay it. So it'll go away. Has he come back yet?
I just don't understand
I
why.
mean, we're leaving it open on them coming back to us.
They can always come back to you. They
Yeah,
can always come.
okay.
All right. Any further public commentary? All right, Mr. Lightfoot. Oh, wait. Oh, go ahead.
Are y'all going to pay for the light on our street? We don't have a street light. And we've been told that we would have to pay it on our power bill.
How much did they quote you? I'm real curious.
Well, this was years and years ago when we had Gulf Power, so we would have to get a new quote. Yeah, I mean, but it's $16 a month.
16. That's the price of a second garbage can. Okay.
All right, any further public commentary? All right, Mr. Lightfoot, if you could call the roll.
Commissioner Perno,
For Davelin, yes.
Commissioner Tender,
Yes.
Commissioner Wark,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Peoples.
Dang, this is hard. I'll say yes. Motion passed to table.
Sorry, go ahead.
This is tabled. We talked about it. So you can go talk to FPL so you don't get the definite no now. I'll be honest, it's going to take a lot of convincing. So, but at least for my vote, I can't speak for everybody, obviously.
Thank you for your time, consideration. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 27, discussion and possible approval of change order number 1 in the amount of $1,900 to BCL Civil Contractors, Inc. for additional work on the Minnesota Avenue Sidewalk Repair Project.
Yes, this is that grant to repair all the sidewalks on Minnesota, and it was a small change order of $1,900. It was for picking up a sidewalk where vehicles, big trucks run over, and ADA mats. The grant has more than enough funds to pay for this.
So is this 1,900 coming from the grant or from us?
Yeah, it's all grant related.
Okay, perfect. Well, I appreciate you all putting this on the agenda for just so we can see it. All right. Is there a motion for this?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I think Commissioner Tender went out on that one. All right, we got a motion to approve by Commissioner Wark, a second by Commissioner Tender. Is there any more discussion from the commission? Any public commentary? All right, Mr. Lightfoot, if you call the roll.
Commissioner Wark,
Yes.
Commissioner Tender,
Yes.
Commissioner Perno,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peoples.
Yes. Moving on to item number 28. Discussion and possible approval of resolution 2025-09-471, authorizing the interim city manager to execute the local agency program FDOT agreement for the Tennessee Avenue Sidewalk Project construction and CEI. The amount of $1,177,304 is fully reimbursable by FDOT.
A resolution of the City of Lynn Haven authorizing the interim city manager to execute the local agency program agreement for participation in the Tennessee Avenue Sidewalk Construction Project in Lynn Haven, Florida, and all required future grant documents providing an effective date.
All right, do I have a motion for this?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Perno, seconded by Commissioner Warwick. Is there any more discussion from the commission?
Yes, what block are they starting on?
This is for phase 2 of the project for construction and CEI. This is for the Tennessee Avenue sidewalk from 5th Street to 14th Street.
And is this going to tie into the fuel depot thing? Is that why we're doing it at that location?
This is from a LAP grant.
But I mean, are we doing it to tie into?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
This is a LAP
Lynn
grant.
Haven Elementary's over there
This is
off of
the-
9th Street.
This is not the safe routes to school that I mentioned
Right,
in my
it's not
report.
safe routes to school. This has been a grant we've been talking about for a while now. We're finally getting it moved along to do. It's a long piece of Tennessee Avenue from 5th Street. It'll connect Kinsall Park to neighborhoods so people can walk from their house on Tennessee Street to down that way. And 9th, it goes from 5th to 14th. So also kids walking home from school will have a sidewalk to walk on.
This will actually tie in so you can have a sidewalk going all the way down 390, tie into Tennessee Avenue, and make your way all the way to 5th Street to Kinsall Park.
And I would like to add that Tennessee is easily one of the most dangerous streets
Yeah.
in Lynn Haven. Top 5 for sure. I've lived around that area for my entire life, and we were always told as kids not to ride our bikes on that street for a reason. So, yeah.
People are racing between stop signs.
All right.
Motion to approve.
So we already did that, didn't
I
we?
say I've got a motion and a second already.
Yeah.
So
Hey, we're on item 28, if you can believe it. So, all right. All right. We have a motion on the floor with a second. Any more discussion from the commission? Public commentary? Mr. Walker?
This goes back way before the hurricane. This project has been set, we've all sat on it, discussed it. This project's a CRA project. You're not the CRA board.
this is not a CRA project. This is a FDOT Transportation Alternative Grant. The city has already received Phase 1 engineering money. This is Phase 2 for the construction CEI money.
You can be corrected. Says here, Director of Community Redevelopment Agency. I was there from day one on this project.
So that was who presented the item, is Mr. Ben Janke. He is not here tonight. He's
I
attending a
understand that.
conference.
That's not the problem. I have the floor. Thank you. Project was discussed, approved. It is a CRA project. It went down that way and it was approved through them. What's happening here is, this is not the CRA board. They are having, that $1 million is coming out of their money. That's coming out of their money.
It's a grant.
It's got a reimbursement, but you got to pay it first. You got to do it. So I believe you're overstepping your bounds.
It's currently budgeted in the Economic Development Department, line 563,000, project 23022.
Again, this is a grant project. The city will not pay any money out of pocket. It will all be reimbursed through the Florida DOT TA grant.
I think the confusion also might be that Mr. Janke wears two hats. He's the CRA director and the economic development director. This falls under the economic development portion.
I will make a note to ask Mr. Janke when he does his cars to remove the from CRA if it's not a CRA item to prevent future confusion.
Yeah, awesome. Good idea. All right. Any more public commentary? All right. Will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peoples?
Yes. I would like to propose that we table the next two items because one, the homeless shelter one was brought up by Mayor Nelson, who's not here. I also would like to talk to some people first before we get more information on this. and as well as, well, I guess that, and then, well, no, Mayor Nelson brought up the review of Chapter 26, my fault. But he's the one that brought up the review of Chapter 26, Code of Ordinances, so I'd like him to be able to be here to present it because he's the one that brought it up. And then for back to 29, I would like to table that one as well. I would like to talk to some people in Panama City. But it's not up to me. I just would like to do that.
I like it. Make a motion.
I can't.
On a motion to table the remaining two items.
All right. Got a motion to approve tabling item number 29 and number 30 until next meeting. Got a second. Is there any more discussion from the commission? Discussion from public?
Just to be clear, you can make a motion, you can second motions. Our charter does not exclude the mayor, commissioner, or the pro tem from making motions or seconding motions. So I just want that to be on public record. If that's something the charter needs to say, then the charter review committee could look at that. But however, you keep saying that you can't. I just want you to know you can.
Traditionally, we do not do that.
Noted.
Noted. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just one quick final thing tonight. Thank you for your grace and hospitality tonight. This has been a very long meeting for everybody. Y'all have done your due diligence, and just as one Lynn Haven taxpaying citizen, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm glad you're tabling number 29 specifically. I do think you need to have some conversations. Just to let you know, once upon a time, the rescue mission tried to come over to Gulf County. We were very concerned. I shared a board with the county, city involvement, to make sure that we had ordinances and critical pathways. If homeless people were going to come over, there should be certain expectations. And honestly, 10 women, 48 men, et cetera, I would like to see what their critical pathway is. They talk about a transformation. What is that transformation? And what's that pathway towards, going out of drugs or alcohol and getting employed? Because, there are some people that want to live that lifestyle, but it shouldn't be outsourced to the citizens. We're sitting here talking about lights and affordability. So before you sign that letter or encourage that, you need a lot more detail. And if you want to see the ordinance that Gulf County created for this situation, I'd be happy to share that with you.
Thank you. Any further commentary? All right, we have a motion on the floor with a second. Ms. Lightfoot, could you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peoples?
Yes, meeting adjourned.